This page is the cover of a Japanese gaming publication from March 1991. The vibrant cover art features a whimsical, starry sky with cartoonish buildings and a smiling character in a hat. The prominent text highlights the magazine title and the date. The main feature teased is titled, My Pulse, Boku no Watashi no Pulse, delving into the perspectives of 22 individuals, including idols and game developers, on their connection with the Mega Drive system. A special appendix is also featured, focusing on RPGs for the Mega Drive, specifically mentioning titles like the classic dungeon crawler Shining in the Darkness, the unique Blue Almanac, the sci-fi fantasy arcs Odyssey, and the strategic Sorcerer's Kingdom, declaring that spring is indeed the season for RPGs. The cover also lists various games covered within, including popular titles like Joe Montana Football, the action platformer Valis 2i, Super Volleyball, the strategy RPG Warsong, known as Langrisser in Japan, the intense shooter Twin Cobra, Kyukyoku Tiger, and the action gem Elysia Dragoon. It also previews several compelling Japan-exclusive titles, like the quirky battle golfer Yui, the action-packed Momono Hunter Yoko, the sci-fi shooter Veritex, and others. Additional features include a hot-blooded Mega Drive declaration from Toshiba Imi, and a special project promising to expose the truth and rumors surrounding the Mega Drive world. This page previews two upcoming strategy and simulation titles for the Mega Drive. First up is Bahamut Senki, a fantasy strategy RPG set on the distant continent of Bahamut. The game is described as taking place in a chaotic era, inviting players to conquer the land and test their strength. The striking artwork features a massive dragon, with a rider flying over a fiery scene, while screenshots show character portraits, a map interface, and an overhead worldview. The title text itself is rendered in a cool, craggy, rock-like font. It was priced at 6,800 yen and scheduled for a March release. Below that, the page teases Sangokushi Retsuden, Heroes of the Chaotic Age. This is a historical simulation game diving into the legendary Three Kingdoms period. The game's iconic sun and silhouettes logo is featured. It was listed with an undecided price and planned for an April launch. The red text, The History of Battle Is, appears between the two games, linking their strategic themes. This page showcases two compelling strategy titles hitting the Mega Drive. First, we have Advanced Daisen Ryaku, Deutsch Dengeki Sakusen, a deep World War II simulation set on the European front lines. This game plunges you into the German Blitzkrieg, specifically the invasion of Poland. You'll command tanks, fighter planes, and infantry, aiming to lead your forces to victory and forge your name in history. The page features detailed artwork depicting German soldiers and vehicles, alongside battlefield screenshots. This strategic challenge was priced at 8,700 yen and scheduled for a May release. Below that, another strategy game is previewed, featuring the striking red text, Never Ending. This title transports you to the chaotic era of ancient China, where powerful figures gather armies to expand their influence. The gameplay focuses on seeking out promising young warriors, leading cavalry and other units in battle, and achieving military merit to rise through the ranks. Screenshots show tactical map views and units clashing. It's clearly a historical wargame capturing the drama of this turbulent period. The next page previews an upcoming title in the popular Shining series, indicated by the large red text, Shining and. Scheduled for a March release, the page includes a striking large blue character, quote, alongside a quote from someone named Naito. This quote describes the game they are aiming to create as a world full of surprises, where players can adventure as if in a theme park, emphasizing the user's perspective in the design. The page also features a profile of Hiroyuki Takahashi, highlighting his prior work as an assistant producer on Dragon Quest IV, and his current position as president and CEO of Climax Inc., the studio behind many beloved Mega Drive titles, including the Shining games. A photo shows Takahashi seated at a computer, with a Mega Drive console nearby. This preview suggests a highly anticipated RPG experience, focused on player immersion and discovery from a key developer. This page continues the preview from the previous one, revealing the full title, Shining in the Darkness. The game is priced at 8,700 yen. It features a quote from Hiroyuki Takahashi, stating that the game's dungeons, battle system, and scenario will offer a different experience from previous RPGs and be very satisfying. The page also includes a profile and photo of Hiroshi Naito, the managing director of Climax. Naito, a programmer since middle school, previously served as the chief programmer for Dragon Quest II I and IV, before helping establish Climax Inc. The bottom section displays the Sega Enterprise's branding, address, customer service info, and an image of the Mega Drive console, confirming the platform. This page provides valuable insights from the developers behind this highly anticipated dungeon crawler. This page features striking full-page artwork for a game from Wolf Team. The central figure is a young hero in armor wielding a sword, set against a backdrop featuring a snarling dragon and a mysterious dark-haired woman. The text, Soshite, appears prominently, a prefix common to titles in the Ernest Evans series, developed by Wolf Team for the Mega Drive. While the specific game isn't fully named here, the art style is instantly recognizable as belonging to this action-adventure franchise. The page also includes the standard Mega Drive licensing information and the Wolf Team logo and address, confirming the game's developer and platform. This is a tantalizing visual preview of an upcoming Wolf Team title for the system. This page features striking promotional artwork for Arcus Odyssey, the third episode in the Arcus series, released for the Mega Drive by Wolf Team. Following on from the previous page, which also showcased a Wolf Team title, this page highlights another of their action RPGs. The artwork depicts a fearsome dragon or monster, a mysterious dark-haired female character, and a male hero, likely the protagonist, Jeddah. The text announces the game's release and its genre as a new world of action RPG. It hints at a plot involving a stolen demon sword, 4 heroes of light named Jeddah, Aaron, Diana, and Vite, and the coming of a legendary blood full moon as they battle a wicked shrine. Key gameplay features highlighted include dynamic stage presentation with special effects, tactical traps, an NPC support system to enhance the story, 2-player simultaneous play described as fierce twin battles, and large maps rendered in a quarter-view perspective, powered by an 8 meters cartridge. The page clearly positions Arcus Odyssey as an epic new entry in the series for the Mega Drive. This page features striking promotional artwork for the Mega Drive game known internationally as Dyna Brothers. The image depicts a smaller, rounded, toothy creature seemingly interacting with a large, purple, pterodactyl-like beast against a prehistoric backdrop. The large blue text prominently displays the game's Japanese tagline, "The sun rises in the forest of giant Tokusa." Developed by Wolf Team, as indicated by their logo and name, Dyna Brothers is a unique strategy and simulation title, where players manage and evolve creatures. This artwork effectively conveys the game's theme of monstrous life in a primeval world. This page showcases the Mega Drive title, Dinoland, developed by Wolf Team. The artwork features 2 charming cartoon-style dinosaurs, one green and one pink, running together against a backdrop of a prehistoric landscape with mountains and flying pterodactyls. The large, striking logo clearly displays Dinoland. The text promotes the game as an action pinball adventure set in the Jurassic period, where players can freely navigate the land, sea, and sky layers. It highlights the game's beautiful visuals and powerful sound effects, leveraging the Mega Drive's capabilities. The description also mentions dynamic realism, added by sudden weather changes and natural disasters. Notably, the music is a tie-up with Ichiro Haneda, known for composing for popular Japanese artists. The game's premise centers on a fighting dragon dino, vying for the title of the strongest dinosaur. This page features the Sega Mega Drive title, Zan, Yasha and Bukyoku, developed by Wolf Team. This is a Sengoku period RPG simulation game, where 3 factions vie for power, using sorcery and magic. The page highlights the game's release date of March 22nd, and its price of 8,500 yen, noting it's a 4 megabit game with built-in SRAM for battery backup saves. The description emphasizes the intense battles fought by warlords on a map designed like a historical picture scroll. Screenshots are shown against a dramatic fiery backdrop, illustrating the strategic map view and a list of characters with their stats. This page features Zan for the Sega Game Gear, bringing the popular Zan series to the handheld console. Following the RPG simulation style seen previously, this Game Gear version is presented as a Sengoku period strategy simulation game. It aims to recreate nationwide conflicts, possibly inspired by major battles like Sekigahara. The game boasts highly visual screens allowing dynamic troop movements across the map, moving east or west. Players can freely engage in diplomacy, field battles, conscription, and castle building, offering deep strategic gameplay with high operability. Featured screenshots show the title screen with the Zan Gear logo, a strategic map view, status map, and an event screen indicating an ally has joined. The game is priced at 3,800 yen, excluding tax, and is currently on sale, developed by Wolf Team. This entry expands the Zan universe onto the Game Gear platform with a focus on grand-scale strategy. This page features Gyuanbura Jikochushinha Mahjong Dojo by GameArts for the Sega Mega Drive. This is a character-focused mahjong game based on the popular manga series by Masayuki Katayama. The Mega Drive version boasts exclusive characters, featuring 8 female characters and a total of 21 male opponents waiting for the player. The game offers multiple modes. A school drama mahjong mode called Class Competition, which features an original story presented through visual scenes, introducing various rival characters. There's also a Mahjong Dojo training mode, challenging players with 250 questions to improve their skills, explained by in-game teachers. Finally, a free battle mode allows players to play against their favorite characters. Screenshots show dramatic story moments, example Mahjong hands, training questions, evaluation results, and a selection screen for the many characters available. The game is priced at 6,800 yen. This page is dedicated to the Mega Drive port of Twin Cobra, known as Kyukyoku Tiger in Japan. The dramatic artwork features a fierce tiger's face looming over intense helicopter combat, complete with explosions and a determined pilot. The text highlights that this is the ultimate Mega Drive version of the renowned arcade shooting game, promising to deliver the same excitement with explosive action and weapon power-ups. It invites players to experience the true thrill of this big-hit game on the platform. The game was released on February 22nd for 7,500 yen, excluding tax, published by Treco. This page features the cover of the magazine, highlighting the game Ambition of Caesar. The striking artwork depicts Julius Caesar on a black horse, raising a sword, alongside a large crest adorned with a lion, a ship, and various decorative elements. The main title, Ambition of Caesar, is prominently displayed, with the Japanese title, Shiza no Yabo, below it. The text further describes the game as a simulation, stating that Atarashi Tobira wa hirakareru, which translates to a new door opens. Screenshots at the bottom show strategic gameplay with troop formations and menu interfaces, confirming its simulation genre. The top left corner displays the Micronet logo and contact information. The cover conveys a sense of historical strategy and conquest. This page features a follow-up on the game highlighted on the cover, Ambition of Caesar, described as a grand 8-megabit real-time war simulation, with a planned release in February 1991 for 8,800 yen. The page also showcases other upcoming or recently released titles for the Mega Drive. Junction, an action puzzle game from Konami and Micronet, is advertised as highly rated and currently available for 6,000 yen. Finally, the legendary arcade vertical shooter Raiden by Seibu Kaihatsu is announced as being under development and coming soon to the Mega Drive. This page is an advertisement for Super Volleyball on the Sega Mega Drive, developed by Video System, which is currently available for 5,800 yen. This page is an advertisement for the Mega Blaster joystick for the Sega Mega Drive. Priced at 2,480 yen before tax, it features rapid-fire and slow-motion modes, promising to help players dominate demanding shooting games like Thunder Force 2i. This page is a vibrant advertisement for the Sega Mega Drive game, Aeroblasters, known in Japan as Aeroblasters. It features stunning artwork of the lead fighter jet, the Raid unit, soaring through space alongside portraits of the game's pilots. 2 in-game screenshots showcase the side-scrolling shooter action, featuring detailed environments and enemy designs. The headline dramatically proclaims, "Two lights that save the Earth are now taking flight," hinting at the dual-player capability and the game's premise. The ad highlights several key features for potential players. It's a perfect transplant from the arcade, supports 2-player simultaneous play, boasts varied scrolling stages, offers abundant power-up items, and features excellent graphics with huge bosses never before seen in shooting games, all backed by powerful stereo sound. Priced at 6,000 yen before tax on a 4-mega room, this page clearly positions Aeroblasters as a high-quality, feature-rich title for the Mega Drive, emphasizing its arcade pedigree and exciting co-op gameplay. It's being published by Kaneko Co. Limited. This page is an advertisement for the Vantan Design Institute, highlighting their new game software creator program and upcoming seminars, featuring a guest speaker involved in games like Last Armageddon. This page is a promotional image for the classic horizontal scrolling shooter, Zero Wing. It features striking artwork of the player's ship, the Zig, against a dark space background. The main text highlights the game's core mechanic. Catch it! Throw it! Destroy it! Referring to the ability to capture enemies with a tractor beam and use them as shields or projectiles. It announces that this is a perfect port of the popular arcade game by Toaplan, emphasizing its unique gameplay. The page also indicates a planned nationwide release in the spring, with the price still to be announced. This page features the Game Gear title, Pop Breaker, a shooter developed by Microcabin. The prominent artwork displays the protagonist, Yuki Takeda, alongside a futuristic vehicle. The game centers on Yuki's aspiration to join the elite unit FLESWAT, motivated by the advanced floating tank named Diana. Gameplay screenshots show an intermission sequence, a selection screen where players can choose their vehicle, including Diana, and a top-down view of the action. The page confirms the release date as February 23rd, with a price of 3,800 yen before tax. This page features the Sega Mega Drive game, Devil Hunter Yochiko, The Seventh Bell, a dramatic action game based on the popular anime series. The vibrant artwork showcases the protagonist, Yochiko Mano, the 108th generation Devil Hunter. Key details highlighted include the game's 4 mega cartridge size and a suggested retail price of 6,500 yen before tax. The page announces the game is scheduled for release in late March. Developed by Masaya, NCS, this title brings Yoko's monster hunting adventures to the Mega Drive platform. This page features the classic Sega Mega Drive fantasy simulation game, Langrisser, known as Warsong in North America. The striking artwork by character designer Satoshi Urushihara showcases the main heroes, including the protagonist with red hair. The page describes the game as a grand epic presented through 20 continuous scenarios. Key gameplay elements highlighted include realistic animated battle scenes, a strategic commander rule system that balances simple operation with deep strategy, RPG features like level up and class change systems, magic attacks, and the influence of neutral non-enemy NPCs on the battlefield. The game utilizes a 4 mega room cartridge and includes backup memory for saving progress. Developed by Masaya and published by NCS, Langrisser was released on April 26 for 7,300 yen before tax. This page features a variety of weapons and equipment under the title Real Fighting, likely showcasing items from a tactical or simulation game developed by Masaya NCS, the company behind the previously featured Langrisser, Warsong. Detailed descriptions for several items are provided, including a bazooka, machine gun, handgun, axe, smoke rocket, and shield. Each entry lists the item's name, type, length, weight, material, and notes. For example, the bazooka is described as a long-range weapon, modified from a net gun, capable of firing 2 powerful explosive rockets. The machine gun is a medium-range weapon, based on a Solus military design, known for its reliability. The handgun is a basic, low-cost, close-range weapon, capable of firing 8 shots, noted as being popular. The axe is a melee weapon designed by a former Grey Brie member, featuring a sharp blade made of 440 stainless steel. There's also a smoke rocket, an option item that creates a smoke screen upon impact, and a shield, a defensive support weapon for protection during battle. The page is visually anchored by an illustration of a green, heavily armored robot or mech, suggesting these items are used by or against such units in the game. The layout presents each item with its stats and a small image, emphasizing the detail and variety of equipment available. The notes provide interesting flavor text about the origin and purpose of each weapon, adding depth to the game's world. This page features the simulation world of the game Headbuster for the Sega Game Gear, showcasing various customizable parts for the game's mechs. The page details several components, including a computer module for offense, a missile pod support weapon, a turret eye sensor, a heavy body armor part, and caterpillar tracks for movement. Each component is presented with its file number, name, type, size, weight, material, and a brief note providing background or functionality details. For example, the heavy body is described as German-made armor with a robust structure, while the turret eye is a versatile sensor developed by a Japanese camera maker. The caterpillar tracks are noted as a stable drive system based on modified military surplus. The main visual features a green, heavily armored mech, similar in style to designs seen on the previous page, illustrating the type of unit these parts are designed for. Small images accompany each component description. The game is highlighted as a Versus title that also supports single-player gameplay, and its scheduled release date is March 15th at a price of 3,600 yen plus tax. This page promotes Valis 2i for the Sega Mega Drive, featuring the game's main characters, likely Yuko Asou, Cham, and Valna, in dynamic poses with weapons. The large golden logo for Valis 2i dominates the lower part of the image. The text highlights the upcoming Mega Drive version of the popular action game Valis 2i, noting its impressive 8 meters cartridge size and the appearance of protagonist Yuko. It boasts amazing visuals and sound, a variety of special attacks, and immersive action sequences. The game is announced for release in late March. Additionally, the page includes an announcement for a new game announcement fair, hosted by Telenet Japan. This event will showcase new games scheduled for a March release, including game displays, appearances by voice actors and production staff, and various events. It's stated that anyone is welcome to attend, but those with special invitations will receive a unique Telenet gift. The fair is scheduled to take place from March 31st to April 2nd at Shinjuku Station, My City. This looks like a must-attend event for fans, especially given the hype around Valis 2i's Mega Drive debut. This page features Janpai Monogatari for the Sega Mega Drive, also known as Mahjong Story. The artwork showcases several anime-style characters, set against a European-inspired backdrop, featuring a clock tower. The game is described as involving a kidnapping at an all-boys school, and the key to solving it lies in defeating 19 beautiful girls in Mahjong using 26 secret techniques. It's highlighted that everything rests on the skill of the Mahjong detective. The page includes brief profiles for 3 of the girls: Yayoi Sakaki, a 15-year-old tennis player, Mariko Amaji, an 18-year-old rhythmic gymnast, and Saori Suguro, a 17-year-old swimmer, detailing their personalities, hobbies, and preferences. The game is announced for release in late March 1990. There is also information about applying for an invitation letter with a deadline of February 28. This Telenet Japan title looks to combine Mahjong gameplay with a compelling story premise and character interactions. This page introduces Squeak, an upcoming stylish action game for the Sega Game Gear, marking Victor Musical Industries' debut title for the system. The vibrant artwork showcases colorful, cartoonish characters like a friendly yellow fluff ball, a blue creature with spiky hair, an angry green blob, a hamburger monster, and a ghost-like character, all set against a grid of diverse tiles. The game is described as a quest to restore a peaceful land corrupted by an evil tribe. As a brave young hero, players must navigate and clear 99 stages filled with challenges within a time limit. The game promises a variety of content, including 7 types of monsters to defeat, 7 different weapons to utilize, and 10 advantageous bonus items to collect. Screenshots illustrate the grid-based action puzzle gameplay. Published under license from Infogrames and originally developed by Lauriciel, Squeak is set for release in Japan this spring, with the price yet to be announced. This page serves as the table of contents for the magazine, detailing the exciting lineup of features and articles within. The main section is dedicated to catching up on new software releases, with the new Scramble and Be Mega Hot menu segmented into parts. This feature covers a diverse range of upcoming games, including action games like Outrun, Zero Wing, Kuga, and Kyukyoku Tiger, Ultimate Tiger, strategy titles such as Advanced Daisenryaku, and other releases like Dick Tracy, Battle Golfer Yui, Zan, Yasha and Bukyoku, Momono Hunter Yoko, Dai 7 no Kisho, Yoko the Demon Hunter, The Seventh Alarm, Bahamut Senki, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, Wrestleball, Langrisser, Wardner no Mori Special, Wardner's Forest Special, Virtus, Super Volleyball, Valis 2i, and the Fantatter titled My Valentine's Day, involving various figures in the industry. An appendix introduces the Beep Mega Drive Jr. section, focusing on RPGs like the classic Shining in the Darkness, Blue Almanac, Arcus Odyssey, and Sorcerer Kingdom. Other features include a hot-blooded Mega Drive declaration, an exposé on Mega Drive rumors, and a new series by a game designer. Several smaller columns cover news, game sound, market trends, development insights, and reader content, including a trick league and reader presence. The page also includes images related to some features, showing dungeon crawling, character art, and pixel art from games like a detective title. This page reports on Sega's strong showing at the Winter CES, Consumer Electronics Show, held in Las Vegas. CES is a major industry event where dealers gather to see and order the latest home electronics, and Sega had a significant presence, focusing on their key hardware. The article highlights Sega's large booth, which featured various systems including the Game Gear, Sega CD, the compact Terra machine, and the rumored Master System 2. The Game Gear, having just been released in Japan, was noted for its strong appeal. The EOS version of the Mega Drive, the Genesis, was also a focus, with new software titles like the revolutionary Sonic, the Hedgehog, and Joe Montana Football being revealed. Games highly anticipated by fans. Third-party support for Sega was also prominent at the show, with numerous companies like Namco, Taito, Electronic Arts, and many others displaying their upcoming titles, indicating a growing ecosystem. The images show the impressive Sega booth setup with multiple screens, the Sega shop selling software and merchandise like t-shirts, a display of the Master System 2, stereo speakers for the Genesis, and a vibrant poster for Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega was clearly making a big impact, showcasing their diverse hardware lineup and exciting new software for the U.S. market. The Winter CES showcased a diverse range of games for various platforms. Action, sports, simulation, and other genres were represented by titles such as Pat Riley's Basketball, Spider-Man, and Road Rash. The U.S. market's preference for accessible games was noted, with titles like Hard Drivin' proven popular. Nintendo's Super Famicom and the Atari Lynx 2 handheld were also on display. Sega presented peripherals, including a multi-cartridge system and a tactile seat controller. The event also featured magazine articles highlighting Game Gear popularity and discussing potential Japanese influence on US gaming trends. A PC corner with IBM compatibles and a large display drew attention. The article concludes with anticipation for the upcoming summer CES. This page details various industry news. Data East and Intel are collaborating on interactive video games utilizing DVI technology on SKIDROM, with a project called Thunderstorm in development. This technology aims for realistic visuals like movies and is seen as a promising future for multimedia applications beyond just games. Polystar is releasing a commemorative CD titled BeepMD Selection 90 on April 25th, featuring music from the Mega Drive Academy Awards. The CD includes the top-voted music track, which was from The Revenge of Shinobi, alongside 2 tracks each from notable games like Vermilion, Phantasy Star II, Afterburner 2, and Target Earth. A screenshot of The Revenge of Shinobi's iconic train/truck stage is shown. Sega has released the arcade driving game Rad Mobile, powered by a 32-bit CPU, to deliver a high-speed, realistic simulation experience across the American continent. This game is designed to challenge experienced drivers. Finally, Pony Canyon is set to release the game Shadow Brain on February 21st, with another date mentioned as March 21st for Video and Famicom. The game is described as using virtual reality production methods and featuring stereophonic sound, with music performance by Chris Cale. A visual is displayed showing a futuristic city and 3 characters. This page kicks off the BeepMD Race Review section, a new feature where games are rated using a unique system represented by racing dogs in the accompanying illustration. The reviews are based on an average score from multiple contributors, with a 10-stage rating scale, emphasizing that the final purchasing decision rests with the reader. The first game featured is Super Volleyball, a sports title from Video System, shown with a screenshot. The review highlights the game's realistic movement, which is a big draw, and praises subtle touches like the ball changing color to indicate the optimal hit timing. The Versus mode is noted as particularly exciting. Super Volleyball is rated 8 out of 10. The page also introduces the contributors to this section, including Okada Keigo, Olex Koji, Kaizu Ningen N, and Jam Ojisan, each represented by a caricature portrait and brief commentary. A section at the bottom announces that the MegaDrive Race feature is expanding to include Game Gear software reviews and will soon incorporate reader votes via postcards, encouraging active participation from the audience. This page continues the MegaDrive Race Review section, showcasing more Sega Mega Drive titles with their average scores and brief reviews. 4 games are featured here, each with a screenshot and a prominent score displayed next to the dog rating icons. First up is WrestleBall, an original sports game from Namco set in the near future, combining wrestling and football. It's described as intense, especially in 2-player mode, though one reviewer notes the controller can be tough on your thumb and suggests a joystick, It scores an 8. Next is Battle Golfer Yui from Sega, an adventure game mixed with golf. The reviews mention it feels like a parody manga, and the golf mechanics are quite strange, lacking realism compared to traditional golf games. It receives a 6. Following that is Twin Cobra, a shoot-'em-up.
This port is compared to other versions, with some reviewers feeling it's a step down graphically and perhaps a bit late to release.
However,
others praise the core shooting action.
It scores a 7. Finally, Dick Tracy, the action game based on the movie, is reviewed. It's highlighted for its American comic book feel and the ability to shoot into the screen depth, not just left and right. While some find the gameplay effective, others feel it lacks impact or can be monotonous at times. It gets a 7. This review section covers 4 Sega Game Gear titles. Joe Montana Football is lauded for its realistic presentation and strategic gameplay, earning scores of 8, 7, and 8. Kinetic Connection, a tile-sliding puzzle game, suffers from difficulty due to the small screen, receiving scores of 6, 6, and 7. Psychic World, an action game with especially abilities, is hampered by awkward controls and dated design, resulting in mixed scores like 6, 5, 8, and 6. Pop Breaker, a stage-clear game, is heavily criticized for excessive difficulty, unfair enemy placements, and poor controls, leading to low scores of 5, 5, 7, and 5. This page features reviews for 2 Game Gear titles, Woody Pop and Junction, alongside the announcement of a reader-driven review contest from MegaDrive games. Woody Pop, originally a Master System title, is reviewed on the Game Gear, with scores ranging from 5 to 8. Reviewers note the charming design carries over but express concerns about control issues, specifically the paddle speed when pressing a button. Despite drawbacks, some found it recommendable.
Junction, a puzzle game where players guide a ball, is also reviewed with scores from 6 to 7. Reviews highlight the straightforward rules and easy-to-understand gameplay, making it accessible. Some commentary suggests the Game Gear version is well suited for the handheld format. The page also introduces a reader contest where participants review their Mega Drive games. Games like Gaiaris, Osomatsu-kun, Phantasy Star II, The Super Shinobi, and Space Harrier 2 are listed with sample scores. A picture of Populous is also shown, likely related to the contest prizes. Finally, there's a general summary reflecting on the Game Gear titles reviewed across this and potentially previous pages, offering overall impressions of the platform's recent releases. This page kicks off the new release scramble, highlighting upcoming titles for the Mega Drive. It covers several games including Outrun, Kuga, Midnight Resistance, Zero Wing, and others. The spotlight falls first on the long-awaited port of Outrun. This iconic arcade racer, known for its immersive feel, is finally making its way to the Mega Drive. Despite being a highly requested port since the console's launch, it saw releases on other platforms first. The article notes the Mega Drive version is planned to utilize an 8 megabit ROM, suggesting a faithful conversion. Players disappointed with other versions like the PC Engine release are encouraged to be optimistic about this one. Screenshots show the familiar road and scenery from the arcade game. Next up is Kuga, known internationally as Midnight Resistance. This Data East shooter is described as a highly anticipated title, serving as the company's second release on the system. While initially slated for a March debut, it was pushed back to May. The delay is attributed to quality improvements and balance adjustments, which is good news for fans. The article confirms the popular 2-player simultaneous mode is intact. Screenshots showcase the side-scrolling shooting action and boss encounters. This page features the highly anticipated Mega Drive port of Toplan's arcade shooter, Zero Wing. Scheduled for a late April release, the game is a faithful conversion of the 1989 original. The article emphasizes the game's core mechanic, the unique prisoner beam, which allows players to capture smaller enemies. Captured foes can be used as shields or launched as projectiles, providing a versatile offensive and defensive tool, especially since the game lacks a standard bomb weapon. Zero Wing offers 3 distinct shot types, which can be powered up in 3 stages by collecting matching color units. Options can also be equipped above and below the ship.
The port promises to include all 8 stages from the arcade version. The reviewer notes the game successfully blends intense action with challenging content, suggesting it's easy to get hooked. Screenshots highlight the prisoner beam in action, showcase various weapon types like the Vulcan, laser, and homing shots, and give glimpses of early stages and bosses, such as the mechanical dinosaur from Stage 1 and the large artificial satellite boss from Stage 2. Overall, it's presented as an exciting and slightly unconventional shooter to look forward to. This page covers the game Jean Monogatari, an adventure mahjong game from Renault/Telenet. Originally released on the PC Engine CD-ROM Squared, this is a port to the Mega Drive, scheduled for release in late March. The Mega Drive version, at 8 meters, is much smaller than the CD-ROM Squared version, but still uses the Real Effect System animation technology to give the characters lifelike movement. The game's premise revolves around solving a mystery in an all-girls school called Seishirakawa Gakuen, referred to as the Secret Garden. The protagonist is a young mahjong detective from the Kubeni Detective Agency, who uses his mahjong skills to investigate a kidnapping case. You must battle 13 different girls in mahjong to uncover the truth. The article highlights that while it's a mahjong game, significant effort is put into the visual and adventure portions, making it less focused purely on mahjong mechanics and suggesting it's a high-quality production, even for beginners. The page introduces some of the characters you'll encounter, including Saori Suguro, 17 Swimming Club, Yayoi Sakaki, 15 Tennis Club, and Mariko Amaji, 18 Rhythmic Gymnastics Club, detailing their personalities and preferences. Screenshots showcase the game's diverse character expressions and visual scenes, emphasizing Telenet's signature visual style. There are also glimpses of the mahjong gameplay interface and dialogue options. Overall, it's presented as an intriguing blend of adventure and mahjong with strong visual presentation. This page dives into Kageki, Hot B's action game for the Mega Drive, which was delayed but is finally arriving in March. This is a port of the one-on-one fighting arcade game by Taito from about 3 years prior, featuring significant revisions for the home version. Instead of simple matches, the Mega Drive version structures the game around fighting your way up an apartment building controlled by the Extreme Evil Car Gang. You'll face off against regular soldiers before taking on the boss character waiting on each floor. The game adds new techniques compared to the original, including a powerful super jab and the ability to jump, which adds a defensive dimension. Items also play a role, with health-restoring food like hamburgers and canned goods appearing, sometimes thrown by characters or simply showing up on screen. There's even a grab attack item. Screenshots showcase some of the unique boss characters you'll encounter on the lower floors. Anti-Eye in a garage, Momota in a sports gym, Ryuji the effeminate fighter with a sandbag on the 3rd floor, the perpetually eating Hiroshi on the 4th, and the masked, torn-mouthed Osugi running a club on the 5th floor. The game also features surprisingly lavish voice synthesis for its time, adding to the character. It shapes up to be a solid action title, with plenty of quirky personality. This page features 2 diverse titles. First up is Shikinjo from Sunsoft, a puzzle game akin to Shanghai or Sokoban, where you manipulate mahjong tiles to guide a character, like a Kyanchi, ninja, or even a spaceship or rabbit, to the exit. The game prevents simply pushing tiles directly, adding a strategic layer. It also boasts a construction mode and modem support, allowing players to create and share puzzles, significantly boosting replay value beyond the initial clear. The reviewer notes that while puzzle games can get repetitive, these features combat that fatigue effectively. Below that is Advanced Deisenryaku, Blitzkrieg in Germany by Sega, a strategic simulation focusing on the German campaign in WW2. The article explains the game faced delays as Sega worked to balance the realism of wartime situations with enjoyable gameplay, a tricky task. It highlights the improvement command, which allows upgrading units like tanks by changing armor or turrets to face different threats, adding tactical depth. Screenshots show strategic maps, battle views, and even historical images, framing the game within its real-world conflict context. It's clear Sega is carefully refining this entry in the Deisenryaku series. This page kicks off the Mega Hot Menu Part 1, introducing a lineup of games starting with the action-packed Dick Tracy for the Mega Drive. This adaptation of the popular movie puts you in the shoes of the famous detective, battling waves of gangsters in an intense action shooting game, utilizing both your trusty pistol and a machine gun. The article details the game structure, consisting of 6 stages, each broken into 3 rounds, culminating in a boss fight to advance. There are also bonus stages between main stages, where performance earns extra points and valuable credits, a crucial addition given the limited continues. The review dives into the core gameplay mechanics, outlining the use of the 3 main buttons for pistol firing, good for close enemies, jumping, and machine gun fire, effective against distant foes. It emphasizes mastering the controls to differentiate between close quarters combat, where punching is surprisingly effective against unarmed enemies, and ranged encounters requiring precise shooting. Screenshots visually demonstrate these key actions, including jumping to dodge bullets and crouching to avoid incoming fire, highlighting the need for strategic movement alongside shooting. The magazine positions this as a sweat-inducing shooter that captures the feel of the movie's action. This page continues the BeepMD Hot Menu look at Dick Tracy, focusing on the gameplay in the initial stages. Stage 1. Swarming enemies in the street sees you starting outside the police station, taking control of Dick to confront waves of gangsters. The key here is using your weapons effectively. The machine gun is ideal for distant enemies, while the pistol handles foes who get close. Dodging is crucial. Crouch to avoid bullets, and attack during the brief moments enemies spend reloading. A screen shows a newspaper headline, "Tracy declares war on Big Boy," adding to the atmosphere. Transitioning to Stage 2, defeat enemies empty-handed. Quote, the gameplay shifts dramatically. Dick cannot use his gun, requiring you to rely on punches for combat. Get close to enemies for melee attacks. The text suggests crouching while fighting might be safer. Gun-wielding enemies reappear later, and you must advance on them during their reload cycle. Watch out for enemies throwing dynamite. Getting near them negates the explosion, but they pose a significant threat when other enemies are present. The action moves to a train environment, including battles on top of the carriages. The film strip visual elements reinforce the cinematic feel, including a shot of Tracy stating he's out of bullets, fitting the theme of Stage 2's challenge. This page delves deeper into Stage 1 of Dick Tracy, focusing on the challenging boss encounter, and also covers the bonus stage. You've reached the third round, and now you face the boss, Itchy. This guy is incredibly tough. He appears running at high speed, suddenly stops, and unleashes a barrage of bullets. You should try to take him down with your machine gun before he starts shooting. However, this boss gets back up and attacks even after being knocked down once. To defeat Itchy completely, you just have to keep shooting him with your machine gun until his life gauge in the upper right is depleted. As you fight the boss for a while, the screen will suddenly stop scrolling. Then, persistent enemies who shoot from both sides of the protagonist will appear repeatedly, so be very careful. The bonus stage challenges you to shoot the 3 targets presented. The targets are depictions of gangsters, but some police officers and ordinary citizens are also set up among them. 3 targets appear at a time, and you shoot them using the A, B, and C buttons, taking them down. Naturally, you should only shoot the gangsters. If you mistakenly shoot ordinary citizens, it counts as a miss. Also, missing the gangsters counts as a miss. Good shooting results earn you bonus points and credits, but if you have many misses, you won't get anything. The next page dives into Stage 2 of Dick Tracy, highlighting the new challenges you'll face. The first round of Stage 2 shifts the action to a warehouse. Here, you'll encounter a tough new enemy, a man in a purple coat wielding a machine gun who specifically targets your feet, forcing you to jump to evade his fire. Watch out for the knife-wielding thugs as well. Moving into the second round of Stage 2, the gameplay changes dramatically as you engage in a high-speed gunfight from the back of a car. Gangsters will appear in passing vehicles, shooting from the windows. You'll need to quickly take them out before they get a bead on you, utilizing cover behind or even on top of your car to dodge bullets. Things get intense when multiple enemy cars appear simultaneously, requiring concentrated machine gun fire to survive. The page also features illustrated panels hinting at upcoming scenes, including a car chase sequence involving the villain Brow, and a confrontation with another mysterious character interested in the nitroglycerin plot, suggesting further narrative development in Stage 2. This page features Battle Golfer Yui, a unique blend of sports and adventure game released by Sega. It's described as a game where you can improve your golf skills while enjoying a story about battling the evil Dark Hazard organization. The game stars Yui Mizuno as she takes on various opponents, including her rival Ran Ryuzaki, after Ran is kidnapped by Dark Hazard who seek talented golfers for nefarious purposes. The page shows screenshots of the adventure mode, which features character portraits and dialogue, and the golf mode, showing a top-down view of the course with the HUD. It explains that the adventure mode is command-based, and the golf mode uses the directional buttons for club and ball selection, and the A button for the shot. Beginner players are encouraged to use the caddy's advice. The article highlights the memorable characters appearing throughout the adventure,
This page introduces some of the key characters you'll face in Battle Golfer UE, described as characters you shouldn't bully. It features character art and brief descriptions for 4 individuals. Hakata Kaworu is the first opponent, modified by Dark Hazard, and is the weakest enemy character, a former pro baseball player. Kitako is actually Ran Ryuzaki, Yui's rival, who was kidnapped by Dark Hazard, and is now a member of their ranks, possessing considerable skill. Daybot is a mysterious character who claims to be an ally of justice, strong in battle golf, and known for their long shots. Finally, Professor G is an evil genius scientist, the mastermind behind kidnapping Ran and aiming to conquer the world through battle golfers, and is very powerful. The page also briefly touches upon player stats, explaining that values like luck, LK, and SP are displayed, and influence gameplay, with experience gained from winning increasing your level. There's an item shop available after every 9 holes, where you can buy items like SP and LK recovery drinks and cards. Lastly, a section on basic golf terminology relevant to the game is included, explaining terms such as tee ground, hazard, par, ob, out of bounds, and different game formats like stroke play and match play. A table showing the typical distances for various woods and irons is also presented. This page introduces Joe Montana Football for the Sega Mega Drive, positioning it as an authentic American football simulation featuring NFL superstar Joe Montana. The article highlights the game's realism, noting it avoids oversimplification common in older sports titles, and aims to capture the excitement of the sport, including details like penalties and formations. It suggests the game is accessible even to those new to American football, offering a way to learn the rules while playing, and emphasizes the strategic depth involved in planning plays and reading opponents. The game also supports 2-player matches. Multiple screenshots display the overhead gameplay view on the field. A dedicated section provides background on Joe Montana himself, explaining his status as a legendary quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, his leadership, and numerous achievements, justifying his feature in the game as fitting for the sports genre. This page delves deeper into the Sega Mega Drive's Joe Montana Football, first explaining the fundamental rules of American football for newcomers. It breaks down the core concept, gaining 10 yards in 4 attempts, downs, to earn a new set of downs, pushing towards the opponent's end zone. The goal is scoring touchdowns, which the page illustrates with a step-by-step guide showing the offense starting, getting a first down, achieving a touchdown, and attempting an extra point. The article praises the game's simulation of fine rules and its realistic visuals. It highlights the ability to choose from various teams and play in match or league modes. A key feature is the play calling system, where after each play, players select the next strategy, with Joe Montana himself offering recommended formations and plays, even for teams other than the 49ers, guiding players with sound tactical advice. Screenshots showcase the play selection menu, and a post-game stats summary featuring an illustration of the legendary quarterback. This page dives deep into the strategic heart of Joe Montana Football, explaining that American football is fundamentally a battle of formations and wits, not just brute force. It emphasizes that success hinges on the team's ability to execute the quarterback's chosen strategy, making the selection of formations and plays paramount in the game. The page breaks down offensive strategy, showing how play calling adapts to the down, field position, time, and score. It highlights effective plays for specific situations, such as running plays and play action near the goal line. Diagrams illustrate various offensive formations, like shotgun, near, wing, split, special, and I-form, complete with routes and player movements for numerous plays. Defensive strategy is also covered, stressing the need to anticipate the opponent's moves and adjust formations accordingly. The article points out that reading the offense correctly can lead to crucial interceptions. Defensive diagrams showcase formations such as dime, nickel, 34, 43, special, and goal line, detailing player positioning and actions. The page reinforces that mastering these formations and plays is key to dominating the game. This page features a special roundtable discussion titled, Exposing the Truth of the Mega Drive World. The Truth of Mega Drive Rumors. The image shows 3 individuals wearing masks, a gorilla, an older man, and a man with an exaggerated face, sitting around a table with a Sega Mega Drive console and various papers and accessories. This photograph is noted as a recreation of the actual discussion. The text explains that the editorial department receives daily questions and complaints from readers, finding it difficult to respond to everything.
especially when information isn't available or it's too early to disclose. Readers are stressed by unanswered questions and crave any information, even rumors. This discussion brings together 3 anonymous participants. A freelance game writer, B, from the development side of a certain game software company, and C, from the sales side of a certain game software company. They gathered to discuss the truth behind various rumors. While not everything discussed is guaranteed to be factual, the editors hope readers will gain some understanding from this insider perspective on Mega Drive-related information.
This page continues the roundtable discussion, with the participants delving into Sega's struggles with securing copyrights, particularly noting their apparent failure to obtain rights for key titles like Tetris and Populous, which B suggests hindered user growth. The conversation also touches on the role and quality of game magazines, with Ek expressing the difficulty in providing timely, priority information when writing about the industry. The page highlights the complicated history of Tetris rights, with a diagram showing the chain from Soviet Elorg to Mirrorsoft in the UK for PC rights, then to Atari Games for arcade/rights in America, and Tengen for NES rights in America. For Japan, Nintendo got the home console rights, Sega got the rights, and BPS got the home console rights, leading to various releases. The discussion also points out a rampant pirate version of Tetris, described as a perfect pirate version, made around the area, which strangely replaces the Sega logo with a black screen and features the awkward title, Russian blocks. This pirate version was reportedly sold for 850,012 yen, including in Akihabara. The page also features the Genesis version of Populous. It's noted that while it lacks new features from the Super Famicom version, it accurately captures the PC version's atmosphere and has good controls. A recent purchase in New York for 8,000 yen equivalent is mentioned, compared to the slightly cheaper 7,800 yen price point in Akihabara at the time. The discussion critiques the game industry's lack of critical self-reflection and magazine's superficial analysis, driven by a fear of negative repercussions and biased reporting. It highlights discrepancies in review quality and misleading scores. 2 participants, a sales expert and a game development veteran, offer insights. The conversation covers specific game reviews, particularly Castle of Illusion, with one participant praising a reviewer's accuracy while questioning overall trust in scores, including how even editors might be influenced. The discussion touches on upcoming Sega releases, particularly the autumn lineup, and speculation around Phantasy Star IV's development. Publishers are currently focused on action and shooting games. Reader reviews for Castle of Illusion exceeded expectations, despite limited magazine coverage, due to a short development cycle. Finally, Icarus Magazine's summary reveals potential news on Icarus Genesis releases. This page presents a special roundtable discussion delving into the truth behind Mega Drive rumors. The conversation covers what's expected for the Genesis in 1991, touching on anticipated hardware improvements like graphics and sound, including scaling and rotation effects, as it competes with the Super Famicom. Participants view the Genesis as a robust machine, noting the clear divide between successful and unsuccessful software titles, reflecting market trends. The strong performance of titles like Super Monaco GP and Thunder Force 2 is highlighted as having shifted perspectives. Despite some tough lessons, the outlook for the Genesis in '91 is considered positive, suggesting the system can leverage its experiences effectively. The discussion also questions the current level of user excitement for games across platforms, suggesting a general dip in enthusiasm compared to the past. Limited software variety and diversifying user preferences are explored as contributing factors. A significant portion focuses on new hardware, specifically the Klydrom add-on. There's speculation about a potentially earlier than expected release, perhaps announced in the spring, with promising technical specifications. The possibility of hit PC Engine CD action games getting sequels on the Mega Drive CD is discussed, along with a potential price point. However, the final price and official announcement details remain unconfirmed, typical of Sega's secrecy. The page includes images of a Klydrom player and the participants of the discussion. This page presents the second part of the Hot-Blooded Mega Drive Declaration series, highlighting Toshiba Emi's entry into the platform. The list shows the many companies that have previously made their commitment, including Sega, Technosoft, Sunsoft, Masaya, Taito, Wolf Team, Data East, and more. Toshiba Emi, traditionally known for music creds, is now shifting its focus to game software development for the Mega Drive, specifically aiming to utilize multimedia capabilities and the Klydrom add-on. They plan to bring their popular
Master of Monsters strategy game series to the Mega Drive CD. The article features an interview discussing Toshiba Imi's current development status and future plans for the system, accompanied by photos of two key individuals from the company. This page continues the discussion with Toshiba Emi regarding their entry into the Mega Drive market. The company, known for music, is now focusing on multimedia and game development, particularly targeting the Mega Drive and its potential Cry-Drom add-on. They see the Mega Drive user base as enthusiastic and believe the platform is well suited for their plans. Their first release on the system will be a port of their popular strategy simulation game, Master of Monsters. This game is planned for release in July, with 4 MB capacity and a backup function. They state their initial focus will be on ports of existing successful titles to build momentum, but they also plan to develop original games in the future, exploring genres like fantasy simulation. The page also includes a brief company history listing previous game releases on platforms like the Famicom and MSX, such as Dynamite Bowl and Zoids 2. This page continues the interview with Toshiba Emi about their entry into the Mega Drive market, focusing on their first title, Master of Monsters. The person interviewed, identified as part of the CD Business Promotion Department, discusses the development status, mentioning the map screen is 70% complete and they are now working on the battle scenes. They emphasize wanting to utilize animation to make the game visually rich, noting that using 4 frames for animation is better than 3. The development team is small, currently 2 programmers and 2 graphic designers, and they are working hard on graphic design and compression. The interviewee expresses confidence in the finished product, hoping users will try it and won't regret buying it. The page also provides a summary of Master of Monsters. It's described as a strategy simulation game, where the player controls monsters to defeat enemies. The game features a detailed map and focuses on monsters gaining experience points through battle, leading to growth and evolution. The experience points aren't just numbers. The monsters actually change form as they grow, which is highlighted as a satisfying element. The game combines elements of strategy and simulation, allowing players to deeply enjoy raising their monsters. Screenshots show a map view with units, a menu window overlaying the map, and a battle screen interface. This page discusses the state of the Japanese idol industry, labeling it the idol winter era, after a golden age in the early 1980s. The article examines the factors contributing to this downturn, such as an overabundance of idols leading to perceived quality issues, exemplified by the large group Onyanko Club. Despite this challenging period, the piece highlights several specific idols who are managing to find success. It offers brief critiques and observations on their singing abilities, popularity sources, and public personas, featuring images of artists like Shizuka Kudo, Ribbon, Rie Miyazawa, Wink, Mami Yamase, Hiroko Moriguchi, Kyoko Koizumi, Koko, Marina Watanabe, and Chisato Moritaka. The article suggests that adapting to the changing media landscape and having a unique appeal are crucial for idols to thrive in this era. This page delves into the evolving landscape of the idol industry, focusing on the increasing synergy between idols and video games during the idol winter era. It highlights how idols are finding new avenues for visibility and work by collaborating with the game industry, whether through voice acting, providing image songs, or representing characters. The article also discusses the shift towards a visual era, where physical appearance and promotional videos, aided by media like Laserdisc, are becoming crucial marketing tools for idols. It touches on current musical trends, including the popularity of Eurobeat arrangements. Furthermore, the page includes reviews of recent game music releases, featuring soundtracks for titles such as Populous, Actrazers, and Shadowbrain, commenting on the quality and production of these albums. Finally, it features a segment on an idol's music video as part of the ongoing Idol special coverage. This page features the third installment of Jam Ojisan's TV Game Market Frontline, an interview series with game industry figures. This session focuses on Sega's strategy to expand the market alongside third-party developers, with game critic Jam Ojisan, Yoshimi Yasuda, interviewing Kenyu Kamada, manager of Sega Enterprise's HE business division. The discussion covers the Sega Mega Drive's market performance, particularly in the face of the Super Famicom's launch. Kamada discusses the Mega Drive's solid sales figures and the importance of third-party support. He mentions titles like Super Monaco GP as key drivers of hardware sales, and highlights Sega's focus on strengthening relationships with developers. The interview also touches on upcoming software, specifically mentioning Shining in the Darkness as a highly anticipated release, and noting that the reputation of Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse among users is growing. The next page continues the interview with Kenyu Kamada, manager of Sega Enterprise's H.E business division, by game critic Jam Ojisan, focusing on Sega's plans. The top of the page previews upcoming or recently released Sega titles, including Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, the quirky platformer likely known internationally as Decapatak, the tactical strategy game Bahamut Senki, and the dungeon-crawling RPG Shining in the Darkness. The discussion moves to Sega's hardware strategy. Mr. Kamada confirms that the Game Gear exceeded its initial sales target and mentions popular Mega Drive titles like Columns and Super Monaco GP sold out quickly, highlighting the importance of low-price software. Sega is also actively developing software targeting younger audiences to expand the market. The interview touches upon the development of new hardware following the Game Gear, specifically mentioning the TerraDrive, a Mega Drive, and PC at compatible machine, shown at the bottom of the page. Sega emphasizes their commitment to providing both quality and quantity of software for Mega Drive users this year. This page introduces a fascinating and somewhat unexpected piece of hardware for the Sega Mega Drive: the Mega Studio, a video editing adapter. The article explores the need for easier home video editing, comparing it to the messy process of physically cutting and splicing film. The author notes the difficulty of managing piles of videotapes and proposes using the Mega Drive and video machines together for editing. Dubbed Mega Studio, or Megasta for short, this adapter functions as an all-in-one video editing system. It connects to the Mega Drive like a standard cartridge, and uses the console's screen for displaying controls and editing functions. The article highlights three main capabilities: editing control for dubbing specific sections, sound effects mixing, and creating video titles. While separate components offering similar features existed, the Megasta integrates them into a single unit controlled via the Mega Drive pad. The concept is presented as a powerful, albeit potentially pricey, at around 59,800 yen for the cartridge, solution for home video enthusiasts looking to tidy up their tapes and add creative flair. Diagrams illustrate how the unit connects to video players/recorders, and the different functions available through the Mega Drive interface. This page dives into the world of Sega Mega Drive gaming, focusing heavily on the simulation title, Zan, Yakusha, and Bukyoku. It's presented as a unique take on the Sengoku period, blending historical simulation with fantasy elements like magic and monsters, moving beyond simple territorial unification to focus on a conflict between light and darkness. The reviewer finds the mix of diplomacy, magic, and combat mechanics intriguing, suggesting it's a fresh experience, even for simulation veterans. The page then transitions into a guide for the early stages of Zan, emphasizing basic strategy. Key tactics highlighted include recruiting enemies through diplomacy or persuasion, leveraging powerful enemy generals for your side. Another crucial point is mastering using barriers and magic, which is described as vital, particularly for factions like Yakusha and Maku who don't rely on brute force. Finally, the guide stresses the importance of numerical advantage, advocating for overwhelming weaker opponents quickly by concentrating troops, as losing territory can severely hinder troop movement and overall strength. The page also includes a short list, serving as a table of contents for other games reviewed in this issue, including Demon Hunter Yoko, The Seventh Bell, Bahamut Senki, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, and Wrestleball. This page continues the exploration of Zan, Yakusha, and Bukyoku, focusing entirely on the game's unique magic or curse system, which the article highlights as the absolute key to success. Described as being akin to magic in a fantasy RPG, curses are divided into those usable during the marching phase and those for the battle phase. The system is further broken down by type: attack, defense, summoning, and element: sky, earth, water, fire, wind. Generals can only cast spells matching their elemental affinity, with higher-ranking generals having access to more powerful techniques. Casting curses consumes magic power. The majority of the page consists of detailed lists covering the curses available in both phases for each element, including specific spells for the Yakusha and Maku sky elements. For each curse, the page provides its name, a brief description of its effect on units, generals, or terrain, and the amount of magic power required to cast it. These lists feature a wide variety of spells, from summoning creatures and unleashing elemental attacks, to creating defensive barriers, influencing movement, or affecting enemy morale and stats. The page includes small character portraits above the spell tables. This page delves into the early game experience of Zan, Yakusha, and Bukyoku, specifically focusing on the 3 distinct scenarios available to players. It emphasizes that while you can choose any of the 3 warring factions, Yasha, Maku, or Chukun, it's crucial to select a scenario where your chosen side has a favorable power balance, as this varies dramatically. For those seeking power, Scenario 2, where Maku is overwhelmingly dominant with historical figures like Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi on their side, is recommended. Scenario 3 is noted as being the most balanced, appealing to advanced players who enjoy a challenge or those aiming for a Yasha conquest. Each scenario description includes a map showing the distribution of forces and a breakdown of the number of countries and generals each faction controls. The article also highlights a key strategic element: the 4 action patterns for generals during automated movement. These patterns: wind, focused on meetings; forest, adaptable; fire, attack-focused; and mountain, defense, dictate how your AI-controlled generals will behave. Choosing the correct pattern for each general is vital for efficient strategy, especially as your forces expand, leveraging the automated marching system for convenience. The different scenarios combined with these AI patterns add significant depth to the strategic layer, complementing the powerful curse system discussed previously. This page focuses on the action game Demon Hunter Yoko, providing a strategy guide for stages 3 and 4, though it also touches upon earlier stages. The article introduces Yoko, the 108th generation demon hunter, who must fight demons to save her classmates captured by the demon queen Farium. It highlights the game's challenging nature with continuous tough battles, treacherous footing, and a time limit, emphasizing that failure can be fatal. The guide stresses the importance of mastering Yoshiko's basic movements, and especially the barrier attack, before tackling the later, more difficult stages. It notes that the barrier is crucial for both offense and defense. Looking at the earlier stages, Stage 1 is described as a battle in the demon world, with bottomless pits and a boss, Kick, requiring players to navigate tricky terrain like tree trunks, leaves, and sinking moving islands. Stage 2 takes place on a demon mountain filled with rising lava and falling volcanic bombs, where mastering the barrier is essential for survival against the boss, who uses flying rolling attacks. The page includes several screenshots showing gameplay from these environments. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for Stage 3 of Demon Hunter Yochiko, the decisive battle on the Demon World Lake. As the name suggests, the stage takes place over a lake, where falling is fatal, and the only footing consists of unstable floating platforms requiring precise jumps. The difficulty ramps up significantly here compared to earlier stages, with enemies like projectile-shooting fish, agile black bees, and annoying fishmen posing a greater threat. The guide offers crucial tips. Don't take any enemy lightly, especially the tricky black bees. Mastering Yoko's barrier attack is essential for both defense against projectiles and offense, particularly against the fishmen. Be sure to look for hidden items, like full recovery or a 1-up. The stage also features mysterious winds that can lift Yoko to otherwise inaccessible areas. The boss of Stage 3 is Suikoki, a giant crayfish-like creature that attacks by spitting bubbles. The guide advises avoiding the bubbles and using the barrier. While the fight can start on a sinking island, it moves into the water, where Yoko's jump hang time increases, allowing for direct attacks as well. The barrier is key, but securing a quick victory might involve getting close and striking directly. This page dives into Stage 4 of Demon Hunter Yoko, the Demon World Cave, a treacherous underground labyrinth where the terrain is your greatest enemy. Unlike previous stages, the primary challenge here isn't just the monsters, but navigating the environment itself. Expect difficult platforming over floating rocks, tricky tree climbing sections requiring perfect timing, and sudden drops into deadly pits. The cave is crawling with various demons, including bats, spiders, snakes, and even strange caterpillar-like creatures dwelling in withered trees. You'll encounter enemies with peculiar attack patterns, like a self-destructing spider whose debris is dangerous, and a 2-part monster whose head flies off and returns. The guide emphasizes precision and patience, particularly for the climbing and jumping segments, noting that the time limit adds significant pressure. Impatience will surely lead to death. There's even a bizarre section where your standard barrier attack doesn't function correctly inside a specific cave. Mastering the controls is absolutely vital to survive the deadly obstacles and reach the end of this challenging stage. The next page continues the guide for Demon Hunter Yoko, focusing on the next challenges. First up is the boss of Stage 4, the Earth Snake Demon. This massive serpent is a formidable opponent, designed for endurance battles. Its charge attack is unavoidable, guaranteed to drain your health, making conserving stamina crucial for victory. Screenshots show the boss in various actions, including its charge and spitting projectile attacks.
Following the Stage 4 boss, the guide moves to Stage 5, the snowfield.
This frozen world is a stark contrast, covered in slippery ice that makes navigation incredibly difficult. Even slight inclines are perilous, and a single slip means instant death. Enemies here are unusual, like flying green creatures and rolling rocks that transform into monsters. The path to the final boss, Queen Futurarium, is a challenging labyrinth made even harder by the treacherous ground. Clearing this complex icy maze is the primary objective before facing the Queen in the final battle. Screenshots depict Yoshiko battling various foes on the slippery, snowy landscape. This page showcases two exciting releases from Taito. Up top, we see the Mega Drive version of Galaxy Force 2, presented as a completely new speed action game finally appearing for the system. It's highlighted as being very well received and is currently available for 4,900 yen. The striking visuals depict a futuristic ship navigating a geometric landscape, aiming to secure areas and reach 99.9% completion. The bottom section features Taito's debut Game Gear title, Chase H.Q. This is a confident entry into the handheld market, bringing the thrill of car chase games. The page emphasizes receiving urgent calls from Nancy and the importance of making the arrest in intense vehicle pursuits. Key gameplay mechanics mentioned include ramming the culprit's car to wear it down, and a unique twist where the hostage isn't in the car they initially pursue. Chase HQ was scheduled for release on March 8th, with a planned price of 3,800 yen. The accompanying image shows the game's detectives and the fast-paced car action. This page introduces Taito's next offering for the Mega Drive, the classic arcade title, Voltified. Following up on their recent announcements like Galaxy Force 2, Voltified brings the addictive area-filling gameplay to the console. The core concept involves skillfully navigating and sectioning off the screen, while avoiding a variety of enemies, aiming to capture a high percentage of the territory. The game promises heart-pounding action and thrills, testing your speed and nerve as you strive for 80% or even 99.9% screen completion. It's presented as a shooting game that undergoes a dramatic transformation, emphasizing power-ups and the title Master of Weapon. You'll encounter unique and varied level designs, from bases and cities to highways and even giant aircraft, making each round a fresh challenge. The game features 7 different item types that enhance your abilities, allowing you to unleash superhuman power to conquer each stage. While the excitement is high, the release date and price were undecided at the time. This page focuses on Bahamut Senki, a strategic simulation game for the Mega Drive. It presents itself as a traditional yet unique title with high freedom, highlighting its interesting masters and combat system. The strategy guide covers early to mid-game points, emphasizing essential actions among the many available commands. It highlights the crucial role of strategy events unlocked over turns, which are used for various purposes like hindering enemies, strengthening allies, or managing resources. A key point is that enemies will use these events too, adding to the challenge. Combat tips differentiate between taking neutral territory, which requires overwhelming force, and fighting enemy masters, where pre-battle strategy events are incredibly effective. Events like reducing enemy HP to 1 or altering unit deployment are mentioned as having surprising impact. Finally, the page introduces powerful enemy units to be wary of. It briefly describes several formidable foes, like the Elf Lord, Sorcerer, Dragon, Devil Lord, Hydra, Lich, Talos, Phoenix, and Guardian, noting their strengths and special abilities. Screenshots show various game elements, including diplomacy, combat, and menu interfaces. This page delves deeper into strategic advice for Bahamut Senki, offering a general overview of the Bahamut continent and key points for conquest. The main section discusses the varied terrain, noting that while plains are good for civilians, they are strategically poor for defense, requiring strong troop concentrations near enemy borders. Forests offer little combat advantage, but islands like Balanile and Wugus are important targets, especially Wugus for its ruins allowing Talos summoning. Swamps hinder ground units, making flying units advantageous. A core piece of advice is to maintain minimal garrisons in controlled areas adjacent to enemy territory. Images include a large map of the continent showcasing the terrain, and a smaller, simplified map highlighting specific regions and points of interest from Scenario 1, Blood-Stained Bahamut. A section features advice from Zeke Furbelia, the former Furbelia prince. He notes his army's initial immaturity but stresses the importance of finding powerful heroes. His strategy involves consolidating strength before attacking nearby regions like Toscana or Lonbanio, emphasizing attacking on plains where possible despite terrain hazards. He targets defeating the Black Knights early and aims to control 3/5 of the continent before challenging Crimped. The bottom section showcases various in-game scenes, illustrating combat, strategic events such as diplomacy prompts, unit deployment choices, and critical plot moments like a hero's assassination or Raymond's return from a mission. This page features the Mega Drive adventure game based on the popular anime, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. Released by Namco, it aims to capture the essence of the original series with numerous visual scenes, resulting in a larger 8-megabit cartridge size, yet maintaining an affordable price. The game is described as being accessible to anyone, playing out like a picture book, with straightforward puzzle solving. It even includes a karaoke feature for the opening theme, mirroring the TV show.
The story begins in 1889 Paris during the World's Fair. We're introduced to Jean, a young inventor participating in the flying contest, who is instantly smitten when he sees Nadia pass by. The plot revolves around Jean searching for Nadia. Key characters introduced are Jean, the bright inventor, Nadia, the heroine possessing the mysterious blue water, whose secrets are central to the plot, and the Grandis Gang, the comical villains pursuing Nadia and the blue water. The game allows players to explore various locations in Paris, such as the port, the World's Fair entrance, the flying field, the circus, and the Eiffel Tower. Exploring these areas involves gathering information and using commands to find Nadia. Screenshots showcase the pixel art representation of these locations and the characters. The Mega Drive game based on Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, continues after Paris. Jean discovers his father's link to the blue water, leading him to rescue Nadia from the Grandis Gang on the Eiffel Tower. After escaping, they crash on a mysterious island with King, finding clues about a sea monster and the island's missing inhabitants. They encounter the Grandis Gang at a village where Jean must earn acceptance through a cave trial. After succeeding, the Grandis Gang attacks again, forcing them into the cave, where they find a colossal steel ship. The ship departs, chased by the gang, and a beam of light destroys the island, leaving only the ship and intensifying the central mystery. This page focuses on the Sega Mega Drive title WrestleBall from Namco. It's described as a unique blend of soccer, rugby, and combat sports set in the near future, highlighting its intense action gameplay. The article emphasizes mastering key techniques due to the game's fast pace and the critical nature of precise controls, warning that even small mistakes can be costly. A major mechanic discussed is bring, where players hold the ball while moving, offering faster movement and better tackle evasion than standard dribbling, a crucial skill to master for effective offense. The guide details button actions while bringing. The A button drops the ball, risk of being tackled. The B button executes a hand pass, requires tactical awareness, and the C button returns to dribbling. A coffee break section lightheartedly suggests different gameplay styles based on personality types, illustrating strategies like direct attacks on goal, tactical plays from the sidelines, and a steady passing game, each shown with a corresponding screenshot. This provides players with ideas for how to approach the game. This page continues the tactical guide for WrestleBall on the Sega Mega Drive. It focuses on mastering two key aspects of the game: effectively using the flying bomb tackle and strategically aiming for touchdowns. The flying bomb is highlighted as the most powerful tackle technique, requiring precise button input but delivering significant damage when successful. The guide advises using it when close to an opponent due to its short hang time, suggesting optimal moments like immediately after the initial scramble or when an opponent is near the ball. Next, the page discusses scoring, explaining the two methods: a standard goal for 1 point and a touchdown for 3 points. While getting points is always good, scoring a touchdown feels much more satisfying due to the higher reward. The challenge lies in the tough goalkeeper, making touchdowns difficult to achieve directly. The guide offers strategies to overcome the keeper, such as powerful shots, tackling the keeper while bringing the ball into the end zone, or tackling the keeper right after they jump to catch a shot. Mastering these techniques is key to consistently scoring those valuable 3-point touchdowns. Screenshots illustrate these tactics and scoring moments. This page provides a detailed breakdown of all 8 teams in Powerball. Following up on the simple introductions from the previous issue, this page dives into specific player data. The table format is explained, showing player positions and then stats for speed, kick power, attack power, stamina,
and accuracy. While the exact numbers are shown for each player, the text summarizes the general characteristics of each team, commenting on their strengths and weaknesses. For example, it notes the Namco team's basic stats and accuracy, suggesting they are good for players getting used to the game. It also mentions the strengths of other teams, like Brazil's attack speed, or the USA team's mobility and stamina, recommending teams suitable for beginners or more advanced players. The overall message is that understanding this data will help players strategize. The final line encourages readers to become masters of Powerball. This page features the BeepMD Reader Letters section, where fans write in to share their thoughts on various games. Readers offer feedback on aspects like graphics, sound quality, difficulty, and the overall gameplay feel, sometimes comparing different releases like arcade, CD-ROM, or MegaDrive versions. The page also highlights the monthly discussion topic, which for this issue is Gradius 2, accompanied by a screenshot of the game. Readers are encouraged to submit their opinions for the following month's theme, which is Powerball. The section provides a snapshot of player experiences and opinions on recent titles. This page features the Game Talk Unleashed section, where readers share their opinions on various games. One reader expresses disappointment with the ending of Shadow Dancer, stating it didn't change significantly, despite the manual suggesting otherwise based on difficulty level. Another highly praises Space Megaforce, Musha Aleste, calling it a well-made game with great shooting mechanics and an impressive opening. Feedback is also given on Flicky and the mahjong game Gyowambura Jikochushinpa. Elemental Master and Gairs are also briefly mentioned. The page also includes an illustration section showcasing fan art submissions related to titles like Emerald Dragon, Faluna, YS Series, specifically Fina, Blue Almanac, and Gairs, alongside some creative original characters and concepts from readers. This page features reader feedback sections titled, Things I Want to Say to the Industry, and Bin Talk. In Things I Want to Say, readers pose questions and offer opinions directly to game companies. One reader details frustration with Sega's Big Bang campaign, having purchased Strider expecting an application form that wasn't included. Sega acknowledges this error and suggests a possible extension for the campaign. Another reader praises Technosoft's Elemental Master and proposes they develop an RPG in a similar style. Questions are also raised about the lack of shogi simulation games and the potential for third-party titles on the Sega Game Library download service, with Sega indicating they are exploring integrating external information via SNN. Illustrations include a cartoon of a frustrated gamer and some abstract biological shapes. The Bin Talk section continues the reader dialogue. Comments include a bold observation about the gallery image in Super Monaco GP resembling body paint from a Playboy magazine, an inquiry into the title Origin of Fireshark based on its ending, and a note about Asmic's video releases extending to adult content. Readers also ask about purchasing back issues of the magazine and are provided a contact number. One reader humorously points out the title Bin Talk sounds a bit risque. An illustration shows a snail or slug creature. This page features a funny anecdote about receiving a strange fax related to a previous topic, along with a section dedicated to corrections for the February issue. The apologies cover errors like misidentifying composer Yuzo Koshiro in the Sega Genesis Academy results, incorrect button prompts for Burning Force, mislabeled game titles like the Pro Yaku becoming 91 instead of 90, and mixed-up data for characters like Gailame and Bulf. Notably, they issue a special apology to Telenet Japan and readers for incorrectly listing a game title, likely Vajra 2i, on the cover and elsewhere due to a printing error. Below that is the lengthy list of winners for the January issue's prizes. Readers won games like Monster Lair, Elemental Master, Darius 2, Gaiares, Dangerous Seed, Shadow Dancer, Crackdown, Junction, GG Columns, GG Super Monaco, GP, GG Bengo, Burning Force, Outrun, Dynamite Ducks, Fantasy Zone, and various other items including posters and original goods. The right side of the page details how readers can contribute to the People Land section. This includes the Bin Talk column, which will discuss WrestleBall for the May issue, a section for submitting illustrations, with specific rules about using black pen, Things I Want to Say About Games, for sharing impressions on Genesis titles, and Things I Want to Say to the Industry, allowing direct feedback to game developers. Prizes like preferred software or book vouchers are offered to lottery winners among accepted contributors, and the submission address is provided. This page features the 10th installment of the column, Looking from Behind the TV Monitor Game Writer's Wanderings Diary, by Oryx, with illustrations by Masanobu Nakahara. This time, the column delves into the atmosphere of game magazine editorial departments. The author kicks off with an interesting note about encountering Atari Street games being sold in music stores in Japan, rather than typical computer shops. As an Atari Street user himself, he notes its niche appeal, particularly in music production, thanks to its MIDI capabilities, unlike the more mainstream Mac or Amiga. He mentions Pierre Taki from Denki Groove, also being interested in foreign game publications. The main focus shifts to the author's experiences visiting different game magazine offices. He contrasts a seemingly orderly, kichiri, precise, department with one that is far more relaxed, where people arrive late and easily approve silly plans. The author seems to appreciate the latter's less rigid approach, despite the chaos, finding it more enjoyable and leading to interesting content. He summarizes having observed 3 distinct types of editorial environments. The accompanying illustrations feature various cartoon characters, potentially symbolizing the different personalities or vibes encountered in these offices. Footnotes clarify details about the Atari Street, mention games like Rampage, 7, user base numbers, and the author's background. This page features the B-Mega Dataland, presenting the top-selling Sega Mega Drive software based on shop data collected throughout December. The main highlight is the Mega Drive sales chart, showcasing the top 10 games. Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, made a significant leap to claim the #1 spot, pushing Super Monaco GP to second. Long-standing hits like Columns and Michael Jackson's Moonwalker remain popular, holding strong positions. Several new releases entered the chart, including Decap Attack, listed as Magical Hat, the Ninja Classic Shadow Dancer, the arcade port Wonder Boy 2-1, Monster Lair, and the solid shooter Elemental Master from Technosoft. The Enduring Fighter Strider also makes the list. A side column offers brief comments and screenshots for some of the top titles. Noting Castle of Illusion's rapid ascent and the continued strong performance of games like Columns, the section provides a snapshot of the Mega Drive software landscape as the year 1990 concluded, reflecting both enduring hits and the impact of recent releases. This page features user data rankings for both arcade and Sega Mega Drive games. The top section covers the arcade game Top 5, based on user data. It lists Final Lap 2 by Namco in first place, followed by Taito's Space Gun, Capcom's Akius Navy, Raiden from Seibu Kaihatsu, and Sega's Glock, Air Battle. The main focus is the Mega Drive Popularity Top 20, compiled from reader surveys submitted over several months. Super Monaco GP reclaims the top spot in this popularity chart, ahead of Thunder Force 2 Eyes in second place. This contrasts with the recent sales chart, where Super Monaco GP dropped to second. Phantasy Star II secures a strong third place, showcasing its enduring appeal. Other notable high-ranking games include Strider, The Revenge of Shinobi, and Ghouls and Ghosts. Longtime favorites like Columns, Golden Axe, and Afterburner 2 also feature prominently. Newer titles such as Sagaya, Phantasy Star II, Phelios, Target Earth, Castle of Illusion, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi, and Musha Aleste round out the list, indicating the diverse range of popular games among readers at this time. The page includes brief descriptions and screenshots for the top 3 Mega Drive titles, highlighting the ongoing popularity contest within the console's vibrant library. This page dives deeper into user data, specifically focusing on readers' hopes for the future of the Mega Drive. First up is the highly anticipated New Games Top 20, a ranking based on user votes for upcoming titles they are most excited about. Leading the pack is the highly anticipated RPG Shining and the Darkness, followed by the strategy title Advanced Military Commander and Bahamut Senki. This list gives a great snapshot of what games the community was eagerly waiting for around this time. Next to that is the Games You Want Ported Top 20, where users voted on titles from arcades or other systems they wished would come to the Mega Drive. Capcom's arcade classic Final Fight tops this list, showing strong demand for beat-em-ups. Bullfrog's Populous and Namco's Legend of Valkyrie also ranked high, indicating a desire for diverse genres on the console. Below the rankings are brief updates from various software houses. Namco teases WrestleBall, Sega discusses upcoming releases like Battle Golfer Yui and Dick Tracy as well as Game Gear titles. Toreko confirms the release of Twin Cobra, Kyukyoku Tiger. Hot B mentions Fire Hazard, Micronet talks about the simulation game Ambition of Caesar, and Messiah gives an update on Devil Hunter Yoko. These sections provide direct communication from the developers to the fans about their projects.
This page presents a comprehensive release schedule for upcoming Mega Drive games, detailing their release dates, genres, developers, cartridge sizes, and prices. It serves as a vital roadmap for players eagerly awaiting new titles, many of which were highlighted in the previous page's popularity polls. The list includes a wide variety of genres from action and RPGs like Shining in the Darkness and Bahamut Senki, to shooters like Twin Cobra and sports games such as WrestleBall and Battle Golfer Yui, reflecting the growing library of the system at the time. It provides concrete dates and specs for the software house's promises, giving fans a clear picture of what to expect. This page features the first installment of a column titled Game Designer's Territory by Naoto Kadokura. The article delves into the often overlooked importance of sound in computer games, arguing that it is still an underdeveloped aspect. Kadokura, currently involved in basic game design himself, reflects on how even the mundane sound of disk access in older machines could inadvertently add atmosphere. He discusses the unique role of sound in games, particularly in providing ambiguous information, contrasting it with the clarity of visuals. He points out that this ambiguity, like hearing a monster approaching or detecting its type and distance through sound, can dramatically heighten tension and immersion, especially in RPGs. He praises Lucasfilm's adventure game, Loom, as a recent example of innovative sound use, specifically its magic system, based on musical notes. The author feels that while visual spectacle is often prioritized, the potential of sound to convey unique information and deepen gameplay is an area ripe for further exploration. He concludes by inviting readers to share their own thoughts on effective sound utilization in games. This page provides an information roundup covering various new releases. Toshiba has launched 3 new models of their Dynabook 32-bit laptops, featuring different configurations of drives and hard disks. Enix has released the 1991 Dragon Quest Perfect Collection Databook, a comprehensive guide to Dragon Quest merchandise, including games, books, and other items, along with sections on secrets. Konami has simultaneously released 3 new board games: Money Tower, a real estate management game; The Spy, a spy game focused on stealing documents; and Moonwalk, based on a Moonrock battle. Additionally, a board game titled Rensaiyan Sports Festival game has been released, featuring gameplay similar to the card game Daifugo. Finally, the second volume of a video introducing popular Bishujo PC games is now available, showcasing a variety of titles using game footage. This page is a full-page advertisement for the 9th Famicom National Mail Order Service, run by a store called Hobbing. It lists various game consoles and a wide selection of games available for purchase via mail order, highlighting discounted prices from the list price. Consoles featured include the Famicom, Game Boy, PC Engine, CoreGrafx and SuperGrafx models, Atari Lynx, Sega Game Gear, PC Engine Chronodrom Squared System, and Sega Mega Drive. Each console shows its list price and the store's discounted price. The bulk of the page lists games available for Famicom, Game Boy, Game Gear, PC Engine, and Mega Drive. A diverse range of titles are presented, from popular action games like ActRaiser and Gradius 2i to RPGs, puzzle games, and sports titles. Prices are shown for individual games, often with a kaku each, indicating a uniform price for a group of titles. The page also includes sections detailing the ordering method, which involves calling a telephone service to confirm desired items and prices, placing an order, and then sending payment via postal money order or bank transfer. Delivery times are also mentioned. The store's address and contact phone numbers for consultations and placing orders are provided. The advertisement specifies that these are mail-order exclusive prices for new items only, and highlights the validity period for the prices. This page is a special feature titled My Valentine's Day, set against a backdrop of cheerful illustrations depicting young people in school and everyday life, centered around giving and receiving gifts. The accompanying text reflects on the changing scenes from train windows, school routes, and winter campus views, noting how everyday life feels different. It specifically highlights February 14th as Valentine's Day, mentioning paper bags likely holding chocolate gifts, and a box adorned with ribbons and seals containing a sweet heart from that girl. The writer muses on the feeling of being swept up in the confectionery shop's atmosphere and expresses a determination for BeepMD Drive to tackle this year's big event head-on. Junko Kawada and Shinobu Nakayama share Valentine's Day memories.
Junko recalls giving chocolate in elementary school and making a cake in junior high. Now, she gives appreciation chocolates, but wishes she could make them. She promotes her music and tour. Shinobu remembers giving chocolate with friends, and her most memorable Valentine's on a drama rap day. She hopes to make a chocolate cake this year. She promotes her concert video and drama, and aims to act in movies and write poetry. Both are pictured holding MegaDrive magazines. This page continues the Valentine's Day feature, introducing Rumi Shishido and Mamiko Tayama. Both are featured with profiles, interviews about their Valentine's experiences, and a data check section that includes a message to MegaDrive users, fitting for the magazine. Rumi Shishido reveals she has never actually given Valentine's chocolate, explaining it's likely because she attended an all-girls school and is surrounded by girls. For this year, she plans to give appreciation chocolate to the staff she works with. In her message to MegaDrive fans, she mentions a goal for the next 5 years, and promises to create something great. Mamiko Tayama shares her first Valentine's experience was in elementary school, when she gave chocolate to a boy she admired, but she regrets having a friend hand it over instead of doing it herself. Her most memorable Valentine was last year when she tried to bake cookies for the staff, but they ended up burnt, though she gave them anyway. This year, she also plans to give chocolate to the staff. She asks MegaDrive users for their support as she works on albums, photobooks, and dramas. Both artists are pictured holding MegaDrive magazines in their respective sections. This page continues the Valentine's Day feature, this time focusing on the manufacturer edition and presenting insights from women working within the game industry itself. Featured are women from companies like Sega, Namco, Game Arts, Toaplan, Wolf Team, and Kodansha Suken. They share personal Valentine's Day memories, from first attempts at giving chocolate to funny workplace anecdotes. Their plans for this year's Valentine's Day are also revealed, ranging from making homemade chocolate treats to the practicality of giving obligation chocolate to male colleagues. In their messages, some mention their work or specific games. For instance, Toplan's message refers to the MegaDrive title Elysia Dragoon. Wolf Team mentions their game Grenada, and Kodansha Suken highlights the upcoming release of Star Odyssey, known as Blue Almanac in Japan, and hopes fans will buy it. The page also briefly mentions a contest, where readers have a chance to receive chocolate messages from these industry women. It's a fascinating look at the personal side of the people behind the games we enjoy. This page continues the Valentine's Day feature, this time presenting the male perspective on memories from various industry professionals. It features developers from companies like Sega, Namco, Taito, Game Arts, Nihon Telenet, Wolf Team, NCS, and Kodansha Suken. They share personal stories about receiving chocolate, ranging from awkward rejections to heartfelt gifts, and even the mishaps of accidentally eating a sister's homemade offering. Many recount funny or poignant moments tied to Valentine's Day from their younger years. In the new software sections, they also highlight upcoming releases. Sega is focusing on shining in the darkness. Namco is bringing out WrestleBall. Taito mentions the arcade hit Master of Weapon is coming soon. Game Arts' Elysia Dragoon is nearing completion. Nihon Telenet has a busy March with Valis 2i, Jante Monogatari, and YS2i, internationally known as Wanderers from YS. Wolf Team talks about Dino Land, their first pinball game, and mentions Arcus Odyssey. NCS is excited about Star Odyssey, released as Blue Almanac in Japan, a major RPG due in April, which Kodansha Suken also encourages readers to check out. It's an interesting look at the personal histories and upcoming projects from the people behind the games. This page presents a Dissy guide for capturing a gamer's heart on Valentine's Day. Make a life-size chocolate Sega Mega Drive. It outlines the necessary ingredients, primarily a massive amount of chocolate, along with various decorations like sprinkles and edible pens. The instructions are shown with photos detailing the process, from chopping the chocolate into small pieces, melting it carefully over hot water, pouring it into a mold shaped like the console, letting it set, and finally decorating it. The result is a delicious, edible replica of the iconic 16-bit machine. There's also a short comic strip illustrating humorous reactions to receiving Valentine's chocolate, including his text emphasizing that Valentine's Day is a significant and memorable event for everyone, regardless of age, tying back to the industry professional stories shared previously. This page focuses on the fantasy simulation RPG Langrisser, known internationally as Warsong. It highlights the game's strategic depth, centered around the commander system, where leading units is key to victory. The review mentions that while easy to learn, the game offers a challenging experience, particularly emphasizing the critical importance of protecting your commander, as losing them means the entire unit is wiped out. Screenshots display the title screen, a dialogue scene during the story, a strategic overview of the battle map, and a close-up view of unit combat. The combat is described as exciting and dynamic, with multiple soldiers fighting simultaneously. The article also points out the flexibility of easily switching between different map modes for strategic planning and unit management. This game is featured as part of the magazine's Mega Hot Menu Part 2, with a list of other games reviewed in this section including Wardner no Mori Special, Veritex, Super Volleyball, Valis 2i, Kukyoku Tiger, and Alicia Dragoon. This page continues the coverage of Warsong, Langrisser. It delves into the strategic combat system, explaining the unit matchups like infantry being strong against cavalry, cavalry against archers, and archers against infantry, creating a simple but effective rock-paper-scissors dynamic. The article then discusses the commander system and class changes.
Commanders gain experience by defeating enemies, leveling up their stats.
Upon reaching level 10, not a master class, commanders can undergo a class change, which is unique to each character. This not only increases their stats, but, importantly, allows them to command different types of units. The diagram shows the class progression for the protagonist, Ledin, starting as a fighter and branching into knight or lord, eventually leading to master classes like king, Grant Knight, or Magic Knight, unlocking command over all unit types. The page also provides tips for the early scenarios, specifically Scenario 1 and 2. For Scenario 1, it advises focusing on Ledin's escape rather than engaging the powerful enemy commander, noting that friendly units might struggle. Scenario 2 highlights a difficult situation with limited friendly units and a strong enemy,
suggesting a strategy involving using archers to damage enemies and Ledin's infantry to finish them for experience. Leveling Ledin early is recommended for later ease. Screenshots illustrate unit stats, the class change diagram, and map layouts with unit placements for strategic advice. This page focuses on Scenario 3 in Warsong, Langrisser, and introduces the key allied commanders you'll encounter early on. The primary goal for this stage isn't just beating the enemy, but strategically leveling up your main character, Ledin. The scenario involves defending Saltra's village from a large group of bandits. The game points out that these bandits are relatively weak, making it a good opportunity to gain experience. The recommended strategy involves using Volkov's already powerful unit to weaken enemy troops, and then having Ledin's unit deliver the finishing blow to maximize his experience gain. Since Volkov starts at a high level, level 9 master, and can't gain much more, this method is crucial for powering up Ledin, ideally aiming for a class change soon. You must also prevent the bandits from reaching the church in the village. Clearing Scenario 3 allows you to rendezvous with Narm, and advances the story, setting the stage for the journey towards Baldia Castle. The page also presents portraits and brief descriptions of the friendly commanders available by this point: Ledin, Volkov, Jessica, Narm, Chris, Thorn, and Taylor. A crucial gameplay mechanic highlighted is that these commanders cannot be revived if they fall in battle, making their survival vital for easier progression. Screenshots show the tactical map overview of Scenario 3, character portraits with dialogue boxes, and battle outcome screens displaying experience points gained. The focus is clearly on tactical planning and character development in this early stage of the game. This page continues the guide for Visco's first Mega Drive title, Wardner no Mori Special, covering the final stages from Stage 5 through to the end, building on the previous issue's coverage up to Stage 4. The guide highlights two essential items: the mantle and the needle and thread. The mantle acts as a one-hit shield against enemy attacks, a crucial defensive item you'll always want to have. The needle and thread item repairs the mantle, effectively allowing you to take 2 hits before losing the protection entirely. Since you can only carry one mantle, stocking up on needle and thread is highly recommended for survival. Stage 5 is described as a significant difficulty spike, feeling like a harder version of Stage 2. The focus shifts from simply fighting numerous weak enemies to navigating complex, athletic platforming challenges filled with devious traps and environmental hazards. The boss of Stage 5 is also noted as a considerable challenge, requiring careful timing and strategic movement to avoid its projectile attacks. Screenshots illustrate the intricate level design, showcasing traps like spikes and fire, and specific enemy types and how to deal with them through precise jumping and timing. This page continues the guide for Wardner no Mori Special, focusing on the later stages
and the final confrontation. The top section shows item pickups, including what initially looks like an item but is actually part of a boss, demonstrating the need for careful play. Stage 6 is the highlight, described as an intense boss rush, where every mid-boss and final boss from stages 1 through 5 makes a reappearance. It's a challenging stage that tests your endurance and skill, featuring new, difficult enemies alongside the returning lineup. The guide emphasizes that success in this final push relies purely on your remaining health and determination. Screenshots illustrate various encounters within these later stages, likely Stage 6. They detail tactics against specific enemies, such as 3 bizarre-faced monsters, a red dragon-like foe that requires specific crouching and jumping to evade its flames, and ghost enemies best dealt with by rapid firing. The guide also revisits the boss from Stage 3, highlighting its weaknesses, the eyes, as a reminder for the boss rush. Finally, the guide covers the ultimate showdown against Ward Cairna. It advises prioritizing defense initially, before unleashing your full attack, noting that Ward Cairna reveals his true form in this climactic battle. The page serves as a comprehensive tactical breakdown for the game's difficult closing chapters. This page provides a detailed look at the vertical scrolling shooter Veritex. Released by Asmik on March 8 for 6,800 yen, it's highlighted as a solid entry in the genre for the Mega Drive, praised for its immersive backgrounds and varied power-ups. The focus here is Stage 3. Set above the ruins of a city transitioning to a battle in the clouds and over the sea. The stage features a variety of small enemies, including unique squid-like and water beetle-like creatures, and even flying red lobsters. After defeating a mid-boss, the beautiful sea returns. The final boss of Stage 3 is a pair of tough, twine-engine bomber planes that use their propellers as weapons and attack in a predictable circular pattern. The guide also offers general strategy tips. It stresses the importance of grabbing power-ups early in the stage when many items appear simultaneously. It warns about a dangerous giant missile that rushes in but can be avoided by not attacking it head-on. Specific tough enemies are highlighted, like the Crayfish Brothers, described as incredibly hard lobsters that shoot fireballs, and a fast, erratic giant snake that appears immediately after the crayfish. A large swarm of the squid-like enemies filling the screen is noted as particularly unpleasant. Finally, the guide cautions that while many items appear alongside enemy waves, focusing solely on collecting them will lead to getting hit. Survival should be the priority. The game seems challenging with interesting enemy designs and dynamic environments. This page continues the coverage of Veritex, moving on to Stage 4. Set in the vastness of space among meteor showers and scattered debris, with a beautiful blue planet visible in the distance. This stage is filled with enemies, including those that emerge from hatches and tricky foes, but thankfully, items are plentiful. The main focus here is the challenging Stage 4 boss, a massive, spherical robot known for its unique attack of launching its arms, accompanied by red and blue projectiles. Strategy tips emphasize utilizing the laser weapon against swarms and tough enemies, and highlight the frequent appearance of shields, especially during intense attack waves. Specific enemy types are called out, such as the missile guys who fire homing missiles, and kamikaze guys that charge from within the meteor showers, often in formation with red fighter groups. A notable mid-boss challenge involves the Double Big Guys, 2 bat-faced robots that move and attack simultaneously, requiring the laser weapon to deal with them effectively. Finally, the guide warns players to watch their rear, as large, tough enemies can suddenly appear from the bottom of the screen, sometimes in quick succession. Stage 4 sounds like a significant step up in difficulty, demanding careful movement and strategic weapon use. This page continues our exploration of Veritex, jumping into the intense Stage 5. Building on the difficulty ramp-up from Stage 4, this stage is characterized by its surprising depth, with enemies often attacking from the rear, making it crucial to be able to hit targets behind you. You'll encounter swarms of smaller foes, a massive battleship, and eventually, the stage's ultimate boss. The guide points out specific threats like ambushing enemies appearing from behind, emphasizing the need for awareness and distance. It also highlights groups of red enemies that attack in formation, resembling a naval battle. Collecting items is key, with the shield being a valuable pickup that appears frequently. A formidable giant battleship pursues the player from the rear, and its cannons are located on its back, demanding precise backward fire. Later, a floating fortress appears from the front, though it's noted as being smaller and potentially less challenging than the battleship. The Stage 5 boss is a major hurdle. This enemy spins and floats, initially bombarding you with tough homing missiles while staying in place. However, It then dramatically changes its attack pattern by drawing a sword and using teleportation to close the distance, requiring players to react quickly to its sudden melee assaults. Successfully navigating these diverse threats makes Stage 5 a true test of skill.
The next page delves into Stage 6 of Veritex, a stark departure from the environments seen previously. While nominally underground in Shirakusa, the visual style is distinctly internal, depicting a landscape of what looks like organic tissue, with walls resembling meat and strange, unsettling protrusions. The text notes that the mystery of Shirakusa is about to be unveiled. Interspersed are communications, including one from Aphrodite, describing a harrowing experience of regaining consciousness near death and sensing a powerful, non-human, huge and evil biological entity. The visuals reinforce this biological theme with pulsating, organic backdrops. This page also announces the Veritex Trial Shooting Event, a nationwide score competition held from February 10th to March 17th across 19 locations throughout Japan. Players could experience the unreleased game and compete for high scores within a 2-minute time limit. With impressive prizes like MegaDrive consoles, Game Gear units, software, and merchandise up for grabs. Attending and submitting a questionnaire also offered a chance to win an original Teleka card. The article promises a detailed report on the event from the Shinjuku venue in the next issue. This page introduces the Mega Drive title, Super Volleyball. Released at 5,800 yen, the game is highlighted for its realistic gameplay and easy-to-master controls, a departure from its arcade origins that makes it very accessible. A major selling point is the ability to create your own original team. The game offers a variety of modes, totaling 5 in all. These include a single-player mode with options for normal play, a Japan League, and a World League. Additionally, there are 2-player competitive and co-op modes, and even a spectator mode to watch CPU matches. The League mode lets you select a team and compete through a season in either the Japanese or World League, aiming for victory. Your progress can be saved using a password system. The page provides details on the teams available in both leagues, offering descriptions of their strengths, weaknesses, and key players. For example, the Japan League features teams like Nitetsu, strong offense, Fuji, veteran players, Nichiden, growing team, and Suntory, strong spikers. The World League includes powerhouses like the USSR, strong spiking and blocking, Italy, rapidly improving, and the USA, strong jump serve, alongside others like Brazil, France, Japan, and China, each with their own characteristics and highlighted players. Screenshots show the game in action, depicting players on the court, and a league standing screen. The review emphasizes the game's ability to deliver tense matches and the thrill of competitive volleyball. This page provides a guide to mastering the techniques in Super Volleyball, covering various actions like serving, attacking, receiving, and blocking. It details several serve types: the drive serve, an overhead serve with spin to change the landing spot, the underhand serve, described as a fundamental serve, and the jumping serve, a powerful, attacking serve that can lead to aces. The guide then moves to attacking techniques, including the quick attack, where the setter and spiker jump simultaneously, the normal attack, a standard spike from a toss, the back attack, a powerful attack from the back row, and the tour attack, a clever tactic by the setter to drop the ball into the opponent's court. Receiving is also covered with the normal receive for simple balls, and the spin receive, described as a famous Japanese technique, effective against powerful serves. Finally, the 2-man block is explained as a method to swat the ball down when the opponent spikes. After mastering the basics, the page suggests starting a practice match against the Italy team, showing screenshots of gameplay, score displays, and even post-match statistics including serve, spike, and block success rates for both teams. This page introduces Valis 2i for the Sega Mega Drive, noting its release from Reno Telenet. It highlights the series' debut on the platform, featuring rich visual scenes. Since the Mega Drive version jumps directly to the third game, the page includes a helpful recap of the stories from Valis I and II for newcomers. The summary of Valis I recounts how high school girl Yuko was chosen by Queen Valia of the Dream World to wield the Valis sword and defeat the evil King Rogals, sadly also losing her friend Raiko in the process. Valis 2 picks up years later, with the appearance of the illusionary Emperor Megas. Yuko inherits Valia's will,
learns she has a twin sister, and ultimately defeats Megas, marking a new chapter in her destiny. The page then sets the stage for Valis 2I, describing the three worlds created by God, Dream, Human, and Demon, and the threat posed by Demon King Grams, who plans to invade other worlds with his Laza sword, the counterpart to Yuko's Valis sword. The visuals showcase characters like Yuko, Rogals, Raiko, Megas, Grams, and the mysterious Ray, emphasizing the escalating conflict between the worlds and the clash of the powerful swords. Valis 2 boasts impressive animation throughout, especially during action sequences. The game features three heroines: Yuko, a sword-wielding high school girl from the dream world; Valgana, her twin sister and dream world ruler; and Cham, a demon girl seeking revenge. A significant event occurs when all three are together. The HUD displays HP, life force; MP, magic points; party status, active character; time, remaining lives, and available magic types. Players can switch characters when available. Magic is used via elemental spells, acquired by collecting corresponding items. The power gauge charges over time, increasing damage when full, and is boosted by hits and items. Essential battle items, found in item boxes, enhance attack, restore health and magic, grant elemental magic, and provide extra lives. These disappear quickly, if not collected. This page delves into the combat system and magic in Valis 2-1. It covers the standard attacks and sliding moves used by the three heroines, Yuko, Valna, and Cham. While their standard attacks differ, the sliding move is the same for all three, useful for navigating tight spots, gaining distance, or closing in on enemies, though you can still take damage while sliding. The core of the page showcases the unique magic abilities of the trio. There are three elemental categories: Blizzard, Fire, and Thunder. Although you can only hold one magic item type at a time, each character has a distinct spell for each element, consuming MP to use. The screenshots illustrate these different attacks and magic spells, showing Yuko's sword attacks and ice/thunder magic, Valana's whip/staff attacks and unique ice/fire/thunder spells, and Cham's chain attacks and fire/ice/thunder magic. It highlights how their individual personalities clash through these varied magical effects. This page from the Valis 2I section details the initial encounter and first challenges. It kicks off with the encounter with Cham, describing how Cham, a noble from the demon world, arrives in the human realm seeking the Valis sword to avenge her father Grams. She infiltrates Yuko's room to steal it, leading to a confrontation. Just as Cham explains her purpose, a pursuer from the demon world appears and captures her, whisking her away. Witnessing the theft and capture, Yuko, without hesitation, resolves to rescue Cham. The page then moves to Act 1 action, covering the first gameplay stage. This is a rooftop environment where Yuko must leap between buildings. As the initial stage, the difficulty is low, though precise high jumps are needed to avoid falling. Yuko fights alone here, making it a solitary challenge until Cham potentially joins later. Finally, the Boss Hammergarter section introduces the first major enemy, a pursuer from the demon world. Hammergarter attacks with radial shots and spiked iron balls. While intimidating, his projectiles are manageable. The radial shots can be deflected with the sword, and the iron balls often miss. The key is to attack aggressively. After defeating him, Cham reappears, suggesting she will now become an ally. This page delves into Act 2 of Valis 2I's, picking up after Yuko has rescued Cham from Hammergarter. They learn that Grams is invading the dream world, placing it and its ruler, Alna, in peril. Act 2 is composed of 4 brief action stages, where you'll utilize Cham as an ally. The whip is highlighted as a powerful weapon, and traversal challenges like a ferry ride require choosing which character to use. The stages include a forest with tricky translucent foes, and a lake featuring a mid-boss dragon fought on the ferry. Following this, you ascend a tower interior filled with challenging enemies. The culmination of Act 2 involves finding Valzana trapped in a hard crystal atop the tower. Defeating weaker enemies causes them to damage the crystal, eventually freeing Valzana and reuniting the 3 heroines. The page hints that the boss Kolilampa awaits next. This page previews the upcoming Mega Drive port of Toaplan's classic vertical shooter, Twin Cobra, known as Kyukyoku Taiga in Japan. The article confirms the game's imminent release and serves as a final check for excited shooting game fans. It describes the early stages as a warm-up, with Stage 1 featuring basic enemy types. Stage 2 increases the challenge significantly, introducing bombers, hovercraft, and leading to a battle against a massive aircraft carrier. The preview notes the variety of environments, and the game's high difficulty is a key feature. Stages 3 and 4 delve into intense battles in a port and over water, highlighting encounters with multiple battleships, varied ground, sea, and air enemies, and tricky underground turrets. The guide stresses the importance of item collection, especially bombs, and points out that later stage enemies have more complex movement patterns. The excitement for this challenging title is palpable. This page continues the strategy guide for Twin Cobra, delving into the later stages and their formidable boss encounters. Stage 5 begins with a fierce battle at sea against attack helicopters before moving inland. Here, you face a chaotic mix of ground enemies like tanks and turrets, along with air threats including bombers and transport planes. The guide notes that dual cannon tanks emerge from buildings, and enemies exhibit unpredictable movements. The boss is described as incredibly strong, surrounded by numerous turrets that must be destroyed first before focusing on the main target. Important tips for this stage include knowing when to ignore damaged enemies and prioritizing survival over collecting stars, especially in the challenging later sections. Next up is Stage 6. Characterized by an overwhelming number of ground enemies right from the start, the action intensifies as you transition to facing powerful tanks, culminating in a difficult boss fight against 2 super heavy tanks with thick armor. The guide stresses that these bosses attack in coordination, making it hard to focus fire on a single target. The recommended strategy is to take down one tank as quickly as possible to simplify the fight. Key tips for this stage emphasize developing evasive skills to navigate the dense enemy formations and strategically deploying bombs, noting they are the most reliable weapon in this brutal stage. The content highlights the game's relentless difficulty and the need for tactical play. This page continues the strategy guide for Twin Cobra, covering stages 7 through 10 and detailing a significant boss encounter. Stage 7 begins with a large number of boats, escalating to a chaotic sea battle involving helicopters, battleships, one hiding a power-up, and transport planes before moving to a land-based boss. Key strategies for Stage 7 recommend liberally using bombs against dense enemy formations, and focusing on reaching the goal rather than collecting items. The featured boss strategy highlights a large enemy that uniquely splits into 2 after sustaining damage. While challenging, the advice is to concentrate fire on one half to simplify the fight. Stage 8 presents an overwhelming number of enemies attacking from multiple directions, emphasizing the need for practiced evasive skills. Stage 9 is described as difficult due to powerful enemies that often don't drop items, suggesting players power up beforehand. Finally, Stage 10 is the ultimate test, a non-stop onslaught of every enemy type, including bosses, with tricky attack patterns, especially from the rear, demanding constant caution. This page focuses on GameArt's upcoming action shooting game, Elysia Dragoon. The article reveals the reason for the game's somewhat quiet development lately. GameArt's dedicated significant effort to creating powerful development tools specifically for action shooting games before fully diving into the game itself. The development setup uses an X68000 computer as the host, which shares the same 68000 CPU as the Mega Drive, allowing efficient testing on the actual console. The tools are primarily split into 2 major editors: Dari, Direct Art Interface, a graphic editor for creating everything from background map parts and full maps to enemy sprites and visual scenes, and Ketchup. Ketchup consists of a map editor and a move editor. The map editor allows for detailed adjustments to map data created in Dari, including terrain effects and stage parameters like start and end points. The move editor is particularly interesting, enabling the setting of enemy character movement paths. The screenshots showcase the graphical interface of these tools, including spline curve editing, which allows developers to easily draw complex movement paths for enemies, a significant departure from the old method of inputting numerical coordinates, making the process much more visual and intuitive. The developers pictured are shown working at their computer stations, highlighting the hands-on nature of using these advanced tools. The next page continues, detailing the development process and tools for Elysia Dragoon. The article highlights the Ketchup tool's capabilities, explaining how it simplifies tasks like creating enemy movement paths by allowing developers to simply draw them with a mouse, eliminating the tedious input of coordinates. This visual method extends to programming enemy AI, where actions and behaviors can be defined by combining preset modules without needing direct code input. Ketchup also handles special effects and background scene handling, such as defining floor collapses or complex scrolling. The central purpose of these powerful tools, Dari and Ketchup, is emphasized not just as speeding up development, but primarily as a means to enhance the game's quality and balance. Debugging and adjusting parameters, which often consume significant time, are made far more efficient when changes can be visually implemented and tested directly on the Mega Drive hardware, which is connected to an X68000 development machine. Screenshots showcase the Elysia Dragoon gameplay with its distinctive sloped terrain and enemies, alongside views of the Ketchup interface showing animation testing and character data editing screens. The article concludes by stating that with Dari and Ketchup now fully functional, Elysia Dragoon's development is gaining momentum and promises a more in-depth look at the game screens next month. This page provides a report on the 1990 Pinball Expo held in Chicago, celebrating 60 years since the birth of pinball. Written by the authors of the Japanese book Pinball Graffiti, the article highlights the impressive scale and passionate culture of pinball enthusiasts in America. The expo featured extensive exhibitions showcasing machines from pinball's origins, including early flipperless games and the classic 1931 Ballyhoo, through to modern digital machines like Data East's The Simpsons. The event included lectures, sales, and a pinball tournament, where one of the reporters competed and felt satisfied with their result, remarking on the high skill level of American players. The report concludes with details of a factory tour at Data East Pinball, offering a look behind the scenes of modern pinball production. This article explores the pinball world, starting with Data East's The Simpsons machine. The machine, showcased at the Pinball Expo, capitalizes on the popular animated family's chaotic charm. The Simpsons, featuring Homer, Marge, Lisa, Maggie, and Bart, have become a cultural phenomenon, evident in the game's vibrant artwork. The article then shifts to digital pinball, highlighting 1991 as the year it arrived on platforms like the Mega Drive and Game Gear. Dino Land, for the Mega Drive, by Wolf Team, is a unique dinosaur-themed pinball game. The game features an evolving creature across ground, sea, and sky environments. Labyrinth Stone, for Game Gear, created by Game Arts, offers a castle setting with monsters, wizards, and a heroine, perfect for handheld gaming. This page features Volume 2 of Kizoku's Small Room, where the host, Ikeda Kizoku, introduces the guest, Junko Kohara, describing her as a golden egg. The page is dominated by a photo of Junko Kohara, identified as the National High School Soccer Image Girl, and the '89 Yokohama Dreamland Miss Dream Image Girl. The content is primarily an interview between Kizoku and Junko. They discuss her background, including her past participation in high school soccer club activities. Junko expresses her feeling of being awkward with the main player role in soccer, preferring a more supportive position. The page also includes Junko Kohara's media schedule, listing various TV and radio programs she appears on, such as Tune-Up Shonendan, Gig Yagugera 2, and Heartbeat Club, along with a mention of a Shibuya recital video release. A personal reflection section titled Betrayal shares thoughts on the nature of trust and disappointment in human relationships. This page continues the interview with Junko Kohara, the National High School Soccer Image Girl. She explains her role involves public relations, appearing in TV commercials, and interviewing players. She mentions how busy the job was, requiring her to stand in the stadium stands throughout games, even when it was cold, and recalls having to wear thick clothes after being told she'd be wearing a miniskirt. She also talks about interacting with fans and signing autographs, including signing clothes. Kizoku playfully suggests producing her as the latest idol found by Ikeda Kizoku. The text at the top refers to Kizoku's aspirations to be a rock businessman, aiming for something grander than just selling merchandise. The bottom of the page features 3 smaller sections. This month's software briefly reviews Elemental Master, finding its graphics beautiful but the gameplay difficult, and Gain Ground, which the reviewer likes for its strategic gameplay despite slightly slow movement. It also mentions the Pro Baseball 91 for the Game Gear, found to be overall difficult but at a manageable level. Kizoku's Horror Diary recounts receiving a letter containing a ghost photo that appears to be from a middle school history textbook and describes strange rapping sounds occurring at night. Finally, the Love Letter Corner shares a letter from a male fan expressing his affection for Kizoku, who reassures him that about 30% of his fans are male and encourages readers to send in more letters, mentioning a Kizoku-chan sticker bonus.
This page features reviews from the monthly Beep Sega Game Library Book Review. It includes a review of Phantasy Star II, Anne's Adventure, a text-adventure spin-off from the main Phantasy Star II story, focusing on the character Anne. The review describes Anne, a newly appointed nurse, who goes to a neighboring town to help the injured but encounters unexpected circumstances, including familiar biomonsters from Phantasy Star II. Screenshots show the text interface with character portraits and standard adventure game commands like look, take, use, and talk. Next is a review of Kinetic Connection, a puzzle game originally from MSX and Game Gear, now available. It's described as a jigsaw-style puzzle where players piece together fragmented images. The game offers different difficulty levels with 16, 32, and 48 pieces. The reviewer notes that the constantly moving screen adds an interesting challenge and recommends it for puzzle game enthusiasts. Screenshots illustrate the puzzle grid in different states of completion across various difficulty modes. Finally, there's an announcement for the Network Game Grand Prix starting on March 13th. This event allows Sega Game Library members to compete for high scores. The first game featured is Flicky, with a deadline of May 15th for score submissions. Excellent scores can win prizes totaling over 300,000 yen. A screenshot of the classic arcade game Flicky is shown. This Mega Drive Secret Technique League volume focuses on Darius II, Sagaya. Hidden features are accessed on the title screen. Entering ABC repeatedly displays play data, allowing viewing of the last 50 game records. Pressing C 12 times unlocks Special Mode, a much harder no-continue version. After a game over, entering ZTT during name entry activates the sound test. Finally, inputting a specific button sequence makes Zone Select available, letting players start from any level, but this disables other options. These secrets were shared by dedicated Japanese players. This page offers player-submitted secrets and tips for Sega Genesis games. In Musha Aleste, a hidden round select mode can be accessed by pressing reset 10 times and navigating the options. A Mahjong game reveals a sound and voice test mode through a specific tile password. Musha Aleste also features cheat codes. Pausing allows button combinations to grant full weapon power-ups, extra lives, or 20 options. Dangerous Seed has an expert mode unlocked by inputting a specific command on the demo screen, changing the title screen text blue, and increasing enemy bullet speed and size, resulting in a more challenging gameplay experience. This issue's reader tips focus on Sega Genesis game secrets. In Heavy Unit, holding A, B, and C, then pressing Start accesses hidden test modes for characters and objects. Granada features a flying trick. Falling off the battleship as the timer hits 0 grants free flight on any stage where falling is possible. Gaiaris allows players to obtain the powerful Treblaster weapon by firing 6 shots into the air and hitting a power-up enemy on the 7th. Space Invaders 90 includes a sound test mode, holding A and B and pressing Start, then using the directional pad. The Mega Drive Secret Technique League encourages readers to submit their game secrets for a chance to win prizes, with the best 9 winners to be announced in the next issue. This page features an article about the Sega World Toy Box Amusement Center, described as a toy box packed with fun games. The article focuses on the bright and spacious first floor, designed with elaborate displays and decorations like giant chess pieces and toy instruments, to create an atmosphere reminiscent of being inside a literal toy box. The Sega World Toy Box is located on the 5th floor of the shopping center Million in Kaga City, Ishikawa Prefecture. It's positioned as a fun destination for families, especially those visiting from nearby areas like Kanazawa and Kaga Onsen. The center dedicates a significant portion of its floor space to attractions for children and families. These include various kiddie rides and simple games with colorful names such as Bigfoot 4, WD, Super Fire Engine, Wani Wani Panic, and Cosmo Gang. A particular highlight mentioned is the Magical Train Ride, which costs 200 yen per person and leads into a tunnel for a special attraction called Flower Rock's Big Chorus. The overall impression conveyed is that of a vibrant, family-friendly entertainment space. This page features several articles related to arcade centers. The Working Man's Corner section features Mr. Hiroyasu Nishikawa, the manager of Toy Box, discussing his efforts to attract customers and change the arcade's image to be more family-friendly and welcoming to women, aiming to move past the negative stereotypes often associated with arcades. The Am Center Gals Encyclopedia Volume 6 introduces Miho Uchiyama from High Tech Land Yoyogi, detailing her personal profile including her birth date,
physical stats, and hobbies like driving and shopping. A small adjacent box announces a Valentine's Day event at the Yoyogi Arcade, where Miho-chan will be giving out chocolate presents. The Remember Old Days article focuses on the high-tech Sega Kanazawa arcade. The author expresses nostalgia for the arcade game Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, which is featured prominently, stating it's rare to find the game in perfect condition like it is here. The article praises the Kanazawa arcade for having a mix of nostalgic classics and new games, mentioning Dragon Spirit and Street Fighter as examples. It highlights that nationwide high-score contests are held here, and people travel from other towns to visit. The arcade displays high scores inside. The author recommends it as a worthwhile stop if traveling to Kanazawa. This page introduces the Game Gear title, Squish, an action puzzle game ported from Infogrames in France. The article highlights the game's core mechanic, using items to change the color of all tiles within a time limit while avoiding enemies. Despite being a foreign port, the reviewer finds the game surprisingly enjoyable on the Game Gear. The article emphasizes the unique design elements that differentiate it from typical Japanese games, noting that while the stages might seem simple at first glance, they are actually well designed. The enemy characters also receive praise for their cool and distinctive appearance. The graphics are described as pretty good overall, with screenshots showcasing the gameplay grid, character sprites, and UI. The story is briefly explained. The peaceful Squishy's land is covered in blue poison by the invading Pitarchs, and the protagonist Squish must restore the 99 continents to their original pink color. The title screen and a level completion screen are also shown, along with the Infogrames logo, highlighting the game's international origin. The article concludes by reinforcing the idea that the game's style and design are distinctly non-Japanese. Squish was scheduled for a May release at 3,800 yen. This page introduces Super Golf, a classic Game Gear title designed for casual golf fun on the go, perfect even for beginners. A key feature is being able to select both a player and a caddy, each having distinct abilities that significantly influence gameplay. You can even tweak player parameters slightly before starting. The game supports up to 4 players and offers stroke, match, and training modes. The difficulty is set to be approachable, making it easy to go under par. Rather than a strict golf simulation, it focuses on a fast-paced, enjoyable experience. 4 unique players are featured: Iron Lewis, a powerful hitter; Olympus Alexander, known for precision; Ijuin Hiyori, a putting expert; and Betty Austin, another power player whose shots fly incredibly far. Complementing them are 4 caddies with special skills: Nancy, who helps recover balls heading out of bounds; Dr. Roku, who can help trigger super shots; Linda, who advises on shot direction and wind; and Miyabi, who assists with reading the green for putting. Screenshots show the gameplay, player stats, and score display. This page highlights 2 Sega Game Gear titles. First up is Woody Pop, a fantastic block breaker brought over from the Mark II-I. It boasts warm, inviting graphics and cute enemy designs. While the absence of the original game's unique paddle controller is noted as a minor drawback, the Game Gear version is highly recommended. A key feature is the non-linear stage progression, allowing players to choose different paths after clearing stages, increasing replayability, alongside collecting various power-ups. Below that is Psychic World, a challenging sci-fi action game. You take on the role of Lucia, who uses psychic powers, or especially, to rescue her sister Cecil from alien invaders. The game spans 6 stages, each concluding with a boss fight, offering a stiff challenge recommended for action game veterans. It's also notable for including an opening demo, a rarity for Game Gear action titles, which helps players quickly grasp the story. This page features previews of upcoming Game Gear titles. First up is Ryukyu, a puzzle game ported from PC and arcade that plays like a unique form of square poker on a 5x5 grid. You strategically arrange cards to form poker hands, using a special Ryukyu card like a wild card to aim for high scores and clear rounds. The reviewer notes the fun in creating powerful hands. Below is Junction, an arrangement of Konami's Q-Block. This puzzle game challenges you to guide a ball through changing block layouts, with the Game Gear version introducing new block types that add difficulty. It's recommended for serious puzzle gamers. Finally, Shikinjo is a tile-matching puzzle game where you eliminate identical tiles to clear a path to the goal. It features tricky evil tiles that block progress and convert adjacent tiles, adding a strategic element. The reviewer deems it a quality puzzle experience. The page also includes a brief Game Gear software release schedule. This page features the Vs. G Club section, checking out hot video games. This edition focuses on Sega's air bike game, AB Cop, alongside other titles. The games covered are Sega's AB Cop, Smonk's Ragai, Capcom's Quiz Tonosama no Yabu, and Jaleco's EDF. AB Cop is highlighted as a thrilling air bike action game where your mission is to chase down and apprehend criminals by ramming them. The review notes the speed and excitement of the gameplay, emphasizing the use of acceleration, turbo boosts, and jumps. It details the progression through different rounds, including high-speed chases in the city, battling a biomonster, and confronting a ninja army. The key to success is quickly capturing the standard criminals before tackling the round bosses.
The page also briefly touches on the other listed games. Capcom's Quiz Tonosama no Yabu appears to be a historical or feudal Japan-themed quiz game, while Jaleco's E.DF looks like a sci-fi shooter based on the visible screenshots. Smonk's Ragai is also mentioned as part of the featured lineup. This page continues the VG Club feature, delving deeper into two games mentioned previously. First up is Capcom's Quiz Tonosama no Yabu. This unique title blends the strategic depth of a Sengoku-era simulation game with the accessibility of a quiz game. Players select one of 8 famous historical Japanese warlords, including figures like Oda Nobunaga, Tokugawa Ieyasu, and Takeda Shingen, aiming to unify the country by conquering territories through quiz battles. The simulation aspect includes turn-based gameplay and random events like weather or illness, while the core combat involves answering questions. The difficulty of conquering a territory is tied to the normal, or number of correct quiz answers required, which increases based on the defending daimyo's strength and the number of castles they hold. Screenshots showcase the map, character selection, quiz interface, and battle results. The game structure makes it enjoyable even for those new to simulation games, focusing on fun quiz challenges. Below that, we have EDF, Earth Defense Force, from Jaleco. Presented as a power-up from its arcade debut, this is a side-scrolling science fiction shooter. The game is about leveling up your spacecraft by gaining experience and blasting through waves of enemies. Screenshots display the ship, various enemies, and weapon effects like lasers and shields. It's described as an action-packed game designed to draw players in, particularly appealing to fans of the genre. This page is dedicated to the acclaimed action game, Ragai, known internationally as Blues Journey, developed by Alpha Denshi and SNK. The feature covers the initial stages, highlighting its beautiful graphics, abundant events, and sound that surpasses titles like Magician Lord. Beyond standard action, the game offers exploration with hidden rooms and shops, and Round 2 introduces branching paths, allowing players to choose their route, adding significant freedom. It delves into the specifics of Round 1, the Secret Forest Jammer, detailing its various traps and features like shops and hidden areas accessible with a key. It mentions the unique shrinking mechanic and how it's crucial for navigating tight spaces or tackling the boss, Kachinko, who guards the exit by swinging back and forth. The page also points out interactive elements, like a house where you can buy a boat, though it advises saving your money, and a shop where you can interact with the shopkeeper in a fun, playful way. The variety of events and hidden content is emphasized as a key draw, encouraging players to explore thoroughly to make progress easier. The next page continues the exploration of Blues Journey, diving deeper into the game's stages. This guide covers the latter part of Round 1, Secret Forest Jammer 2, highlighting challenges like treacherous frozen slopes and difficult-to-reach power-ups, as well as the boss fight against Pochikara. It then moves on to Round 2, Great Swamp Nation Shiban, which is split into 2 parts. Shiban 1 introduces floating islands that move vertically, and tricky merry-go-round platforms, advising players to check information from a character in a house. Shiban 2 is primarily an underwater level featuring branching paths, water spiders, sea snakes, and anemone-like enemies. The guide suggests buying flippers from the shop to make navigating the underwater sections easier. It also introduces the floating Daruma boss encountered in this round. The page emphasizes the variety of obstacles and enemies players will face as they progress through these challenging levels. This page features the BeepMD Reader Present giveaway, offering readers a chance to win various gaming prizes. The highlight is a selection of overseas software titles, some of which can be played on Japanese Mega Drive consoles using an adapter. Prizes include Mega Drive games like Dick Tracy, Lethal League, Joe Montana Football, Battle Golfer Yui, Twin Cobra, Kyukyoku Tiger, and Galaxy Force. There are also prizes for the Master System, such as Battle Outrun, Black Belt, F-16 Fighter, and Load of Sword,
giving readers a taste of Sega's 8-bit library. Beyond games, the giveaway features a Neo Geo poster set, a video catalog showcasing Beautiful Girl software, a Hirai Gakuen card game, and a poster for Capcom's Romance of the Three Kingdoms series. Readers could apply by filling out the survey postcard and mailing it in.
This page presents the magazine's masthead, listing the staff from editors to illustrators, set alongside a colorful, vibrant piece of artwork depicting a cosmic scene with a smiling sun, rockets, and planets over a cityscape. An opinion piece reflects on the state of the game market, wondering if Mega Drive users are becoming tired of games despite the growth in software sales, and prompts readers to share their views on whether their passion for gaming is still strong. A large graphic highlights the upcoming April issue, set to release on March 8th. There's also information on how readers can contact the magazine by telephone for inquiries, and a call for applications from individuals interested in becoming writers or editors for the publication. The lower section details a reader survey conducted via postcard, asking about demographics and gaming preferences, including questions about owning certain titles like Thunder Force 2i, Battlecruiser, and Battlefield, desired Sega PC software, anticipated upcoming Mega Drive releases, games they'd like to see ported, and their picks for the best or worst Mega Drive games. This page is a vibrant advertisement for the Sega Mega Drive game Elemental Master from Technosoft. The ad declares the game is now on sale and presents it as Technosoft's thrilling fourth installment following the acclaimed Thunder Force 2i. The artwork features a powerful central figure and a glowing fairy-like character, set against a dramatic landscape. Below, screenshots showcase the game's top-down fantasy action shooting gameplay and a stage select screen, confirming the game's genre and structure. The price is listed as 6,800 yen before tax. This page is an advertisement for Thunder Force 2i on the Sega Mega Drive. Dominating the right side, the ad showcases the game's high-octane horizontal scrolling shooter gameplay, with dynamic artwork depicting the player's spacecraft battling menacing, fiery creatures in space. Screenshots display the intense action. The text highlights key features, including large, detailed characters, complex game mechanics, player-adjustable speed, and impressive clear voice samples and stereo sound. It prominently states that Thunder Force 2i is now on sale for 6,800 yen before tax. The left side of the page features artwork and the text, "It Begins," along with a section promoting an original CD featuring two young women associated with Gals Club and the game Elemental Master. This connects to the previous page, which promoted Elemental Master as Technosoft's follow-up to Thunder Force 2i, tying these titles together under the same publisher and perhaps a musical collaboration. This page gives us a look at 3 exciting titles heading to the Sega Game Gear in February 1991. Prominently featured is Woody Pop, a frantic take on the block-breaking genre that throws varied, ever-changing stages at you, complete with pesky toy soldiers and odd trains trying to get in your way. The screenshots highlight the game's vibrant look across different levels. We also get a glimpse of Kinetic Connection, a unique picture-matching puzzle game, and Psychic World, an action platformer where you unleash especially abilities to save your sibling. Release dates and prices are provided for all 3 games. Additionally, the page includes information about the Game Gear console and its handy TV tuner accessory.